Futures extending gains here this morning in the pre-market as we come off quite a positive session yesterday. Nice pop back to the upside this morning as well as investors digest the latest round of corporate earnings, including positive report from CMG. Chipotle, big move here in the pre-market after digital sales were much higher than expected. We'll talk a little bit about CMG here coming up. Lyft, on the other hand, yeah, not good. To the downside for Lyft this morning. The forecast, a bit of a problem there. Overall, Tuesday, we saw the Dow add 370 points, helped by nearly 8% move in Amgen shares after they beat right across the board. The S&P 500 added 0.8% yesterday, and the NASDAQ led the way, 1.6%. For tech stocks, more earnings to come tonight. We'll get Disney, we'll get MGM, we'll get Mattel, and also Uber technology on deck after market tonight. Overall, the market in a bit of a holding pattern, as we've been saying, ahead of key inflation data coming up tomorrow. CPI data released this time tomorrow morning. Make sure you're here. We'll have that for you. Obviously, a key indication for the Fed heading into March and what is expected to be the first interest rate hike in many, many years. Overall, the inflation data expected to rise 0.4% in January for a 7.2% gain year over year. Busy morning ahead. Lots to get to. Peloton back on the move as well. It's Wednesday, February 9th, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. And we'll bring up the board here and have a look at the overall markets. You'll see some nice positive numbers, as we were saying. 0.9% there for the S&P, 1.2% for the Dow. Same story for the NASDAQ. Both nicely higher to kick things off so far this morning. Pretty flat here for Toronto market, TSX futures anyways, pointing to basically flat open, 1.7 to the downside this morning for crude oil. Yeah, back and forth for cryptocurrencies as well. Bitcoin higher, but Ethereum taking a bit of a dive. To start things off so far this morning. Good morning, guys. We got all the way through to Wednesday. So far, so good as far as this week is concerned. Nicely positive coming off of yesterday afternoon's rally. We're seeing finally, it's been a while since we had a positive end of the day and then a bit of follow through anyways to start things off.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Hump Day. It's Wednesday, midpoint of the week here, and maybe a bit of a turn in the markets, turn in the week, turn in the markets, possibly. We wanted to see that strong close. You finally saw, well, I shouldn't say finally, because you have to hold support today for things like PayPal, which got beaten up on earnings, and Facebook, which obviously has been trending to the downside since their earnings. But the first signs of a bounce, reclaiming 220 yesterday, we said that would be like your first step. See if that can hold. A similar thing with PayPal. We get Uber tonight. Lyft was a bit of a disappointment. I think Uber might fare a little bit better, but that should lead to some volatility. Don't really trade Lyft until they have earnings, which is what's going to put it on tap. And yeah, I think it's going to be back to some of the other usual suspects, right? Like CFDI, DWAC, and Fun have all been moving. Fun put in a move in the in the afternoon yesterday, and then right back to that well with some of the chip makers. Like AMD broke out right at the close. It's continuing that break. So you stick to what's working, stick to what's moving, and of course Peloton, another volatile pre-market session, that's already gone $2.50 from the time I sat down. So it looks like that's on tap as well.
Yeah, Peloton, as you were saying, as per usual. What's up, guys? Frog in said throat. But no, I'm going to be looking at Ford today. It's on the sticky note. It's the number one idea. It's taking out 18 finally, so we're just getting above here on some Siemens news here on the battery side of things. So I'm really excited to trade Ford today. I mean, it's been a pretty solid name with limited downside. So we'll look at Ford here, taking out 18 and above 18 right now. We'll look at the balance locator. Did you say CPI was tomorrow? I thought it was Friday, but maybe it is tomorrow. I don't know. Brendan, the 10th.
Yeah, tomorrow.
So tomorrow. Great. So yeah, that's going to be obviously on people's minds today. We'll see what inflation goes. And as Brendan said, I think March is 50 points. I mean, I'm pretty sure about that. Today, I think Russia goes 100 points. And Indonesia, no. And Mexico, I think, goes 50. But anyways, central banks all around the world right now, Brendan,
the odds have increased.
Making moves.
Like, what was it, the Like a couple weeks ago,
we could find it. I think
then it went up to like a third, like 33% chance, and then it was back at 27 last I checked. So it's definitely increased. Bostic said this morning 4 hikes this year possible. So I mean, I don't know, the market's already pricing that in, but to hear one of the Fed men, one of the big names, say that out loud, puts it in perspective.
Yeah, I mean, let's just see what J-Pow says. Yeah. I'm trying to load the countdown to the Fed Watch tool here, but it's just not working. But anyways, okay, well, we'll figure it out. Yeah, there it is, 70. Okay, it's finally loading. And I don't know if it's going to anymore, but there it is, 75% right there, 50 points. So I have all these cookies set up and everything, but there it is for the March. So yeah, it is going to be big. And then I guess it's a quarter chance that it goes 75. But yeah, so right now that is what it is, 75%. So it looks like it's a go there for March, Brendan.
Yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I mean, I don't think there'll be much change in that after that number tomorrow, but yeah, tomorrow morning, make sure you're here. We'll get January CPI data, which is, as we've been saying, kind of the next hurdle as far as the inflation story is concerned. Lots to talk about this morning as far as what is moving in the pre-market. Miss V is still on vacation. We wish her well. She'll be back with us Monday. So let's jump right into things and talk a little bit about, wanted to mention just quickly, guys, CMG, 45% increase in online digital sales in the quarter. I mean, a big, obviously $1,500 stock, but huge move here for Chipotle.
It's one of those, like, it's just a beast, right? They kind of always have been. And the big thing I think there that I think people should be paying attention to is ability to pass on costs, right? So when they can raise prices and just sort of maintain their growth, maintain their sales, which is exactly what they're able to tell you, then you're going to get them absolutely booming. But like everything else, it's come off rather heavily. The only thing I'll point out, it's not likely that we day trade the stock. It's just never really been one of those. Chipotle, their food is apparently excellent. I've had it one time in my entire life.
What?
I know, it's crazy. The one time, I was visiting, Jay. I was visiting Jay, and he took me to Chipotle, and it was great. I'm not gonna lie, like, it was absolutely fantastic. I don't know why I've never been there more than the one time. It's back to that 50 period. So many names that have struggled to get back above that 50 period, but on that earnings hump, you're probably looking for it to break back above 1,600. It's like the fact that it's like some of these names have come back like 20, 25% from recent lows, and then it's a drop in the bucket from where they've come from. And I was just looking, we were just talking about AMD before. Chipotle kind of falls into that same bucket, but it drops right into support. We don't really look at the stock, 1,300. Now it needs to break that 16. I think the big news and the good sign, I think, for what it bodes well for maybe some other names in the industry is they're just able to pass on costs. So you're seeing that in these earnings calls. And again, coming from a lot of these companies, it comes down to are they complaining about the supply chain? That's a red flag. If they are able to successfully raise prices and pass those on to the consumers without any kind of a dent in demand, I think that's what's fantastic, and that's exactly what you want to see. Pricing power is going to be big in the next couple of years.
All right. Yeah, I didn't even look at Chipotle. I haven't never really traded that, but I think it's a good stock. It's been working. The thing is that it's been working the last couple of days. McDonald's has been the strongest name. I mean, I'm sure there's stronger names, but McDonald's is just off its 52-week high, and that was just made back in January 10th. I think this is probably all-time highs actually on McDonald's. So this has been the strongest name. It's above its 50 period. And if you thought Chipotle's earnings were good, McDonald's, they may have already reported, but they've been rock solid. They're above the 50 period. So for me, I'm only invested in one restaurant. I was also invested in QSR, which is Tim Hortons and Popeyes and all that. So I'm still small into that. But McDonald's is my number one holding, and again, with a dividend and things like that. So I still like this above the 50-period moving average, and I think it, like Neil said, it bodes well for the industry here. McDonald's just continues to work.
There was a couple other notable names here as well that reported, guys. CVS down, a bit of a messy look here in the pre-market. Speaking of supply chain issues, this is one of them that they were talking about that. This Chinese story, though, is pretty interesting this morning with XPEV getting approval for the Shenzhen Hong Kong Stock Connect program, which seems to have not only XPeng, but NIO, and then all of these other e-commerce companies trading higher on that news this morning as well, including our friend DD, JD.com, all in positive territory. But it's XPeng that gets the approval for this program. But both XPeng, as I said, and NIO nicely higher.
Yeah, just another way for them to be able to raise money, I guess, more aggressively, more access to that Hong Kong listing, to be able to have mainland investors get their money into XPeng, because competition is crazy. In China with the EVs, we know Tesla crushes it there. BYD, which you can't, well, you can trade the pink sheets, I guess. We can't trade NASDAQ or New York or anything like that for BYD. They're doing well. XPeng has consistently had solid growth. NIO's been lagging behind a bit, but you just look at this, and we talked about wick off bottoms, but XPeng was just at $30. You get round numbers, bounces off 30, 200 period. I mean, it's on the list for me to look at here today. And if you can't tell that 40 may or may not be a bit of a thing here today, I think it might be the last time we got to that level. This is exactly the level that got rejected and then had you falling into 30 bucks. It's been a very good consolidation right around 34, 35. If they reject 40 today, I think that's where your support's going to be. Buyer in front of 35 for sure on XPeng, but this $40 level, it stands out like a sore thumb. I will say this though, every single time one of these, whether it's NIO or XPeng in the last year, has looked like this, gapped up right into a monster level, taking the break at the open is stunk. So a lot of times you kind of want to see, have it fail at the open, catch it on the bid somewhere. And if it breaks it later in the day, that's been a heck of a lot better. I just can't think of a time that taking the initial break on one of these was successful. Well, that's not true, because NIO, last time NIO was like this, there was actually a break. You could scalp it out. But then by the time the open came, you were getting back out flat, and then you were trying to find a bottom somewhere. I think that's more the case here with XPeng. And the volume's not big either.
Yeah, XPeng has always been a great stock for me to trade. I put on the sticky note today, and you guys, I just put in the chat. You guys can check it out if you want. It's NIO, so it's up on XPev News, and I just think it's worth trying the 26 break. So that's all. You know, we're busting up here right to this $26 level on the daily chart. I think it's worth taking the break, but again, you still have 45 minutes till we open. Don't have any idea where this thing is going to go, but NIO's been, making moves to the high side. We have yesterday's high of 25, so that comes into play again on a dip in. So we'll wait to see if that comes through. This is just a better stock for me to trade. I think I've made more money on XPev. It's just for right now, I like what NIO's set up to do here. So on a 20-minute, I thought I just had the 20-minute up. No, I can't. There it is. Is this it? Yeah, there it is. On the 20-minute, see, this is giving us the sort of the base, although it goes 23 to 25. So 23 to 25, forget about these dip down here, but that's the 23 bottom. This is the 25 high. So, we're right above that range. I think we try to take out 26, which would be right here, which is this gap down. So we'll see. We'll see if that does happen. Let's just look quickly on the imbalance locator. It's here as a bid. This is the first time I've looked at this. So I have Ford. We'll talk about that in a minute. That's going to be my number one look today. Ford, NIO, and then there's XPeng as well. So, they're all on here. AMC also had a bid. Ooh, 17. That's nice. Palantir, whatever. That's 1350. Okay, that's not bad. But there's a lot of names there on the imbalances today. So we'll have to see. There's still lots of time to go, but it's nice to see some of these names up. Palantir, 2%. Ford up. 2 or 3%, 2% as well. What's CCL doing these days? We haven't looked at the cruise lines in a while. CCL up again into today as well, that 2%, 1.6%. So big level there, maybe at 23. But yeah, lots to talk about today. Yeah, there it is. Look, this is what I'm talking about. Nice move up for CCL in the last 2 days, man. 20 to 23. Take that 20% in 2 days. But, or I guess not 20%, it's 15%. CCL, a good one, Brendan.
A little M&A activity here for you guys this morning. ECOL. Getting bought, it would appear, $48 in cash by Republic Services Incorporated. So this is halted currently on this, but I guess somebody knew something already. So heads up on ECOL. It's up here. Republic Services, deal for $48 per cash, or per share, I should say, in cash. The other one that was notably strong here in the pre-market, guys, SoFi was up 4% at one point, 3.1 right now. Already 1 million shares. I didn't see much on it as far as a reason why, but even SoFi catching a bid here.
Well, it had a spike at about 8 o'clock and then sort of just ran to 1270, and it's been sort of sliding back down. I know a lot of the volume looks like it came on one chunk and on one of those dark pool dumps, like right at 8 a.m. And you guys have probably seen this on your charts before. I'll zoom in if you're not familiar with it. Like right at 8 a.m., you do get a lot of these overnight dark pool dumps of data, and they tend to skew your volume chart a little bit. So yeah, it's done some pretty good volume, but I think a lot of it happened in that block. After that happened, it did catch a bit of a run here. I don't know, I'm looking across some of the fintech names that are catching decent bounces. PayPal off that 120 we talked about last night, managing to hold that level. So it does feel like if we're gonna have an up day, you could get a rising tides lift all ships. I'm just not sure if there's anything there's no news there that you mentioned, Brendan. And then of course, given that it was just that 8 o'clock bump, I try to ignore those. Sometimes they cause moves because people see the volume on the chart and it alerts, and then people start buying the stock. And I think that could be the reason why it's starting to fade back in, because there was nothing there. Either way, it's got support between 11.50 and 12 even, were it to get back down to that price. You can sort of see it making this nice little rounded bottom to break out, so it could also just be a technical thing, but I didn't see anything there. I was looking at PayPal to trade today if I'm looking at a fintech name. That's the one that we've been talking about the last couple of days.
Yeah, I like PayPal better myself as well, but SoFi, come on, let's go, load up. Yeah, I was just looking at it. You know, you do have 13. I mean, 13 is something. Last time we got up to there, you know, we danced around it, and it got up to 13.50 and bounced around a little bit, so we'll see. On no news, I don't think it rallies that much, but, you know, it's been a nice day. I feel like it's pulled back there. I know Neil was just talking about the volume there, but the market was almost at 15,000, the Qs, and that's pulled back down a little bit. So that kind of makes sense on that. But it's been a nice move yesterday for SoFi. And where's the 20-minute chart? Remember, I mean, people will talk about this. The Super Bowl is in SoFi Stadium. That is Sunday. So, you know, there is possible people will buy the stock just for that. I've said that that's not a catalyst to buy it. Maybe a catalyst to swing it for today. I don't know, but I wouldn't. I just think that might be some talk about it. Anyways, good support down here, 11.50. You can discount some of these little, like these really low prices on names that you like. Like you may not see like $10, $50, $11. I mean, you may, but you may not. So, I mean, if you're gonna start to nibble in to SoFi and you're feeling like you've missed it, these aren't horrible prices. I mean, you're not too far away. It's why I started buying more Facebook and things like that. Like, there's only so far, and even a PayPal, like Neil just mentioned, there's only so far down these names should go. You know, there still is a price of zero, you know, over a lot of these stocks. But again, like SoFi should be better. They got the student loans, they got the bank charter now. And, you know, it's run by what we think are smart people. So let's wait to see what SoFi can do here. It's a nice bottom forming. And, you know, it's marching. It's marching. It does have this opportunity to get back upside here. So let's see what happens. The other banks are working well. And not that SoFi is a traditional bank, but JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, like I just put money to work in Goldman. You guys know that around 350. That's 370. JP Morgan yesterday, Brendan brought this to us. It was up 3 or 4% midday yesterday as well, and holding out okay. So, I mean, there it is. Nice little bounce back off some of these bottoms on the banks. So, hey, so far so good. And I think SoFi is worth a shot.
Yeah, 1.96 on the 10-year yesterday was, it seemed to be the reason all those banks were catching a bid. A few other names of note. Funware, PHUN, moving around here, guys. Looks like DWAC just tried as well, coming back a bit. But also wanted to mention this DCFC. If you remember yesterday, the president was tweeting about this. That caused this initial halt up around 10. It actually halted twice, came back in, but we're already trying to clear this high from yesterday on decent volume, already 2 million shares here for this DCFC. Remember, they're going to be at the White House apparently talking with the president, so that was the reason for that move. But yeah, Funware, PHUN, there's DWAC, there's CFVI, also pretty active so far.
Yeah, I mean, let's maybe talk about the other three. The DCFC, I mean, it already tested that 12 even, but CFVI and maybe not Funware, but certainly DWAC and CFVI are at some pretty interesting prices. Like you see CFVI trying to break. It didn't take that 17 all afternoon show or in the close show. We're looking for 17 to be taken out. There's some room to the top here with this rumble SPAC. And I was asking Brendan because trying to figure out like when that actual final deal takes place. Like when do we actually call this rumble? But I don't know the timeline just yet, but 17 is definitely a good level. And then DWAC, the level yesterday was 87. Ooh, I'm missing data on my chart. So That's a bit of a pain in the butt. Either way, 87, that was a high yesterday that it turned around. That was also a previous high before it broke out. And there's just so much room if it takes out 87, whether it's 90s, whether it's 90, all the way up at 97, 98, where it was able to get to just a couple of sessions ago. But, both CFVI and DWAC are setting up for a key level break. They can be faded off those levels, but that's worked already a couple of times. And you test a level 2, 3, 4 times. Eventually, you do get that break. I think that's very likely to come really early off the open. So 87 on DWAC, 17 on CFVI.
Yeah, DWAC yesterday was a good trade for us, so that was a good idea. We hit the long 82. We wound up getting out 84.50 or 84.30 or 84.20 at the end of the day there yesterday. So $2. We first took $1, then we took $2 on DWAC. So we were positive on that stock yesterday. And I like the CFVI break of 17. The order is already in. We'll see if it takes it out. We talked about it with Joe Rogan. We talked about just getting a bump. Like once the truth is out, Once the truth website, I guess, is out, then we will see what winds up happening with that. But I did want to talk quickly because Niagara Charlie did put a super chat in here, and I don't even know what it means. So yeah, I will. You said that 100% utilization here for AMC. So AMC showing 100% utilization. So not sure what that means, but maybe their theaters are 100%. I don't think that's what you mean, but AMC right now.
Oh, they're talking. That's the share declaration term. Shortable. Yeah.
The short. So it's. Anyways, let me know what that means. I'll look it up there while we're off. But I did see your note there, and I'll have to look to see what it means. But yeah, 1680. Anyways, the point about AMC was yesterday was an absolute monster there, and it's been doing great. And if you've been supporting it down here at $14, you've been able to get out a couple times at 17. You're getting another opportunity today, and I think this has a great opportunity, Niagara Charlie, to break above 17 today. And if it does, then you're above this little area of support and off to the races we go. So I don't mind a 17 push here on this. So we'll find out what that means, and we'll get back to you on that one. But AMC definitely has to be on the radar today.
Yeah, there was a note on some new leases, AMC I saw as well from late yesterday. Anyone watching Lyft, the president and CEO on CNBC currently? Here we go. Upgrades and downgrades. AMD, top of the list this morning. Visa. I mean, Amex was all-time highs yesterday. AXP, so these have been really strong. Penn National here. This MP Materials as well was a big mover aftermarket. Big Lots. Waste Management. I think the golf tournament is this weekend, if I'm not mistaken, in Arizona, but doesn't matter. WM on the move here. Arena and Argo Group as well.
So obviously, we're going to be talking a little bit about AMD today. Had that breakout the afternoon. 128 was pretty key. I think if defense of that price is going to make some sense. Now, look, a lot of times, right at the end of the day, you might not take a clean break like this just because how much time do you have for it to run as a day trader? But you've got the upgrades. It's gone like 30% from that 100 level. But then since it had the gap up and fade, and sometimes it's a reversal on a gap up day. That's just the reality. And it's one of those, we missed this breakdown trade because I was looking for the pop and roll back on the second. But we've found support right around this 119. You're gearing up to try to take out that recent high on an AMD. I think the 128, the previous high, can be defended on the way back here with some relatively tight stops. You got to get out if it breaks that level because your good support's a little bit lower than that. But I think there definitely is something that's chip strength today. I saw Marvell breaking out today. There's just a lot of names going absolutely nuts. And someone, who was in the chat saying Soldier for Christ said he sent a super chat. I didn't see that one. I know we just got a super chat. So if you just repeat your question if you can, we try not to miss any of those. But I didn't see that one. I know we got a different one. And that DCFC, if you're trading that, just know this is probably on that high list to halt off of the open. So just be very careful. Liquidity is pretty low. It's got good volume, but liquidity is pretty thin on DCFC, again, running and breaking that 12th even level.
Yeah, we put AMD on here. I can't believe it's at 131. Wow. What a good buy this has been. Like, if you just bought AMD on the 28th. They're up 30% right now. That's a week, like a week and a half. You're up 30% on AMD. Wow. What a monster name. We already got it to 128, so we're going to give that back. I think it's worth taking a shot if it does come back in here into 128-ish. So again, watch out for a fall down. The market's up quite nicely today. We've already touched, or come close to touching 15,000 on the NASDAQ. Unbelievable that we're back here this fast, in my opinion, anyways. It's a nice move up. Obviously, we can fade back in, so we're going to watch this 128 level on AMD. I like it. I think it's legit, and we'll see what happens if it comes back down in there. I mean, I'm willing to hold this thing 126. Like, I mean, the market could absolutely crash, and then we get killed, you know. But let's just wait to see what happens. We have levels 126. You don't enter a trade if you don't have an idea. So, like, if I'm going to lose, you know, whatever your stop losses are, it doesn't really matter. I haven't hit my stop loss in years, but you know, that's because I'm not aggressive enough with it. But 128.50, you know, if you take 100 shares at 128.50 and your out is 126, you know, that's $250 worth of a hit. So, you know, if you like AMD and you think it's a nice play at some of these levels on an upgrade and the market is making sense, not absolutely crashing, then yeah, I think you can put whatever you're willing to lose in and around this 128 to 128.50, give it back to 126. And look, if it loses, it loses. I mean, that's part of trading. You got to do the best you can. Trade setups, trade what works for you. And that's sort of the mentality that I'm in trying to get into every single day, is that, you know, you got to put on shares, you got to take a shot, you got to take a risk. And if you do that, then you can get rewarded, but you also got to have your outs so that that trade doesn't turn out to be 1,000 shares at 128 with my out being at 126, because then I'm taking a $2,500, $3,000 risk. And if that's my total shutdown, then I don't want to be wrong on one trade. So that's why we give the sticky note. That's why we talk about it. There's always 4 or 5 different ideas on it. Our watch list is there to give you some ideas as well, not on prices, but give you some ideas on what's been happening. So check out our watch list, check out the sticky note. Pick your favorite, do your own research, and go from there. But never put all your eggs in one basket.
Great advice. There's a couple of notes here, guys, to make everyone aware of. GameStop just ticked up on some volume there, back above 116, it looks like, on this note. Cointelegraph, there's a bunch of people circulating this note that apparently there's rumors floating around. They're in talks with Microsoft on some MFT work. So I would have expected a little more of a reaction on that, but GME worth a note at this point. There was something else I was going to mention as well. Snap. Remember yesterday we were talking about Snapchat. They priced that note, senior note that we were mentioning for Snap. So a little bit of a downtick there on Snapchat. You guys want to have a look at GME here?
Look, GME yesterday got to like 118, but if you look at the 15-minute chart, it is rubbed up against this like 115 turn, 119, 118, yesterday 118, like multiple times in the last month or last 3 weeks, we've been right up to this level without breaking back out. And on the daily chart, it actually looks almost more enticing on the daily chart because you then include the 120 floor this stock had. So if you talk about making bottoms and then possible breakouts, we got to check. Andrew Harris, thank you for the super chat. Asked whether Peloton was a short squeeze or a legit run. A little bit of both, right? Like there's legit deal speculation, so that's part of the news. It's coming off the bottoms. People looking to maybe take advantage of that, thinking there'll be a solid premium. But then it also has the short interest, so you get a bit of both. And I think something like a GameStop, you can have a small catalyst, you can have a technical breakout level, you can have the squeeze aspect of it. All of those play into it. To be able to say, oh, if it breaks 120 and goes to 140 today, that was a short squeeze, or that was a technical break. It ultimately doesn't really matter. All of these things play into it, in this particular case, and you can see the resistance level that's right there on GameStop. The only thing is, it's like, okay, well, CFI just pulled back off 17, DWAC at 87, GameStop at 120. I mean, if imagine a scenario where all of these, let's say, break and try to trigger at the open, that would be a heck of a trap if it put a reversal in. I think that's why when you're playing the breakout game right at 9:30 on a volatile name, usually you only want to take 1, maybe 2, and try to hope that they're not directly related so that you don't necessarily get trapped at the top there. because the air can come out of these pretty quickly. But yeah, GameStop, that's pretty juicy. These levels up here at a 120. It's just, as you can see, like even just the gap fill is kind of almost gets you to like that 130 level, and there's runway from there. Fundamentally, that's a completely different story, but we're here to talk about trading momentum.
Extremely proud. Okay. There we go. Just writing a note that I'm extremely proud of one of my family members. Okay. I don't even remember what we were talking about. Oh, GameStop, AMC. Oh, did we ever find out what that meant there, Niagara Charlie? Maybe message me on Twitter, because I lose things in the chat. There's a lot of stuff going on there. So, yeah, let me know what you meant by that utilization number there on AMC, and we will have a look. But I am now bidding down here near 15. So let me just alphabetize my sorting here. Yeah, so because I got a bid on AMD and AMC. So down in here, somewhere near 16 and change for that play. I still like AMC today, although the market is falling down pretty good here. I do want to get into Ford. Someone said, how come Sean's not in Ford yet? Yeah, I will get into Ford, and it's very, very close. I mean, the level's 18, so if you guess where I'm bidding, you'll probably be right within a couple pennies down here. So we will we'll take a shot at 18 and change. It's just, I just don't want to get in right now. It's just the market, like if I can get in at 18.02 or 03, if that's one of your guesses, you're going to be right down there, then that's fine. It's not, like we mentioned off, the market's falling down here. I don't think it's a fantastic idea to get into something this early. There still is a half hour left. We have these areas down here where I think there's decent volume that's happened down here, and I just like these levels a little bit better. And if we can fall into 80 on here, or low 90s, something like that, then we'll have a little peek at Ford. So that's what it is yesterday. What's up, John Reinhardt? You made 68 cents off Ford yesterday? Hell yeah. Ford was on our sticky note yesterday for these 17 longs. I just missed it there. So that was a great opportunity. We were too busy, watching Facebook. And you're going to notice something, guys, again, and we'll get back to the watch list if you want. But you guys can notice here, absolutely no Facebook on here. Yesterday was fine for Facebook, but again, we didn't net wind up making money on the stock, so I'm gonna pass on that today, and then we'll puff pass with some of the other names that are on there, because I know Neil's. Oh no, it's not working. That one's not working. The marijuana smoking beat guy there, but we'll just do this then. Yeah, my favorite one. There it is. But Weed Batman is in the building, and we will drop down some Canopy. I know Neil's already in SNDL.
Canopy reported, so I got a short Sundial.
Yeah. Well, Sundial was up 10% or something.
They are. They actually are.
Last time I checked, but we'll to justify the watch list, let's go over to Brennan and go over it.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've talked about some of the cannabis stocks. Before we do that, let's bring in Arun and get a check of the overall market here and see what we need to be aware of. Arun, 2 days, count them, back to the upside here.
Yeah, and a great thing to see is that after a quiet couple days, we're finally get some acceleration, and we're starting to move into levels that we can finally make some plays on, right? Clear trend to the upside. So that's the first thing. We got to respect the trend. As you can see on my chart, this is a 60-minute chart, but I just have this here to show you guys the areas that I'm looking at. 45.65 is available for potential as a stop against some shorts. For now, though, the trend is strong, so no shorts, but be open to it unless 45.65 goes. Now, if that goes, if this trend were to continue and we don't actually drop down 15, 20 points, then we're going to break right through and we're going to go back to the next zone, which is 45.80 into 46.20. So clear trend, couple zones above us that could provide a short opportunity, but you got to respect what's in front of you. Market's up 1.21 on the NASDAQ, 0.91 on the S&P. Clear straight line since about 2 a.m., 3 a.m., which is about from the European session. So there has been no pullback whatsoever since Europe opened. So clear trend to the upside. We're in a couple zones that could provide an opportunity for shorts. So what that could mean is a little drop off the open. Now, if we drop just a tiny bit and then take off to the upside, trend is back in play and we're accelerating straight to the upside. Now, if we fall off a little bit, that kind of opens the door for shorts. That's where you want to be. You want to see some selling, but you want it to stabilize first. Once you get that opportunity, shorts are in play. We're in the zone. Let's take a shot. If we were to fall down, let's say we fall down back towards 4,500, it gets messy again, right? We've got support around 44.80, and my closest area is all the way down here, 43.95, with the 44.35 as a starting point for that. So preferable that we just keep going up and provide brand new levels to work with, because we are there to that we can actually start working something on the short side for now. Not yet though, but with the way the market's moving, clear trend, it's not going to back down. Let's see how this open goes. I think the open will be telling as to how well this trend will maintain its course, whether it's going to turn or it's going to accelerate to the upside.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. Make sure you're here for 11 o'clock. Arun back in the building, as you saw. Miss V off, as we said, on vacation until Monday. So enjoy Arun for the next couple of days on Market Movers. Let's talk about what else is moving around in the pre-market here this morning, guys. If you're looking for that watch list, that is the link. Absolutely free every single morning. All you need is an email address, and you can have that every single day. Let's go into Peloton here, guys, because we had, count them, five different price target increases from some analysts this morning. I mean, the median, if you want to talk about that, is somewhere around 40 or 45, depending on how you look at it. The high end is like 55, 56. But a lot of positivity all of a sudden here for PTON.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the midst of a breakout. It obviously looked a heck of a lot better when we're right at 39 in the pre-market. But look, you got to talk about where it's come from. Since it got beat down, like, it's still basically cut in half from this break of 80 support, and you've been sort of trending down, and that's why there's no obvious levels. It got to 40 yesterday, and that's what it took. Like, the profit taking happened at that $40 range. That puts that level obviously square into contention. The pullback took you to 36, so that puts 36 as potential support. I think 34 tends to be a bigger level if we were to get back to that price, just because it was both a recent high and also a nice little dip buy opportunity in the morning yesterday. So I like 34 as a bigger support level than 36. But that 40, I think if we get there, maybe there's a chance to fade it today and eventually on a breakout. There's just nothing, and it's even numbers on the daily chart. It still has a decent short interest. You have no idea, no one has any idea how long this is going to play out. You had some strong words, well, not strong words. You had the company saying that just because they had a new CEO, it doesn't mean that they're looking to shop the company. Well, that's something that you're going to say. And Brendan was pointing this out before we came on, that's just something that you're going to say, because you've got to control the narrative to try to get yourself as good a premium as possible in the event that you're going to be doing that. They're under pressure to get a deal done. Other companies named, a few I don't think make a lot of sense. Apple's never done big purchases. It's just not what they do. Nike, I don't know. Amazon makes a ton of sense to me. We've thrown some names about, but at the end of the day, we don't know. It could be weeks, it could be months, it could be potentially no deal. But either way, if you're sitting there short, I can tell you this right now. One of the scariest things is to think about being short overnight a stock that has deal rumors over it, when you could wake up to like a 20 or 30% premium. That's why you can have some of these squeezes. And we start breaking levels like 40, you're going to have the same thing probably happen again here until I think you get to some prices that are decent, to the point where if there was a deal announced, well, you've already put in that premium since the rumor. Like, if it goes up 40 or 50% from when this talk started, then at that point there's not as much risk to the shorts. But until we get there, like, I don't know, 50, something like that, you probably have some kind of a strain, and some people aren't sleeping as nicely. It doesn't mean it has to go up, but it does mean it's in threat of a bit of a squeeze, and people wanting to take some risk off.
Okay, so thank you. So we're into Ford right now, so we'll hit the siren. There it goes. And the slap shot, okay. But there's Ford right now in at 02, already at 08, so already 4 cents right there, and that's why we wait. But who knows? I don't have any offers until 15, so we'll wait to see if that comes through. Thank you to Niagara Charlie. Talking here, the utilization rate, here it is. I'll just show this right here. Just sent this to me here. Defined as the ratio on the loan quantity divided by the total gross inventory value. So here's an example down here. I don't know if you guys can read this, but it just says that right now, basically, 100% of the shares are out on loan. So that's what that means for them. Thank you to Niagara Charlie. I don't want to show all my DMs there, but there you go. So if you guys DM, I'm already responded to people on the sticky note as well, by the way. So multitasking here, but yeah, so that's interesting for AMC. If that's going to happen, I guess it's a form of a short squeeze again. If all the shares are out there on loan, I don't know. Should I take a little piece? I mean, maybe I'll take a little piece out here on Ford, as we're already up that 6 cents here on that trade. So maybe we'll put a little piece piece out on Ford. There it goes. Just runs right through us. I think we got 9s there. As here it goes up to 10s and making a move already on Ford. So there it is. There's already 8 cents, which is not bad. And I did take a decent amount of shares there on Ford. So not nearly as much as we want. We'll see if Ford can drop down there. New position alert for me on Ford finally in there. And thank you to Niagara Charlie for that. That's going to make AMC pretty interesting for me today as well. We will look at it. And again, part of this, we've already seen that Ford's had a bid imbalance. That will create the stock to falsify upside for right now. The problem is that will get paired off at open. So we've talked about this before. When you get an oversized, and 500,000 is not oversized for Ford, but when you do get an oversized offer on market on open, MOO order here today, the close is market on close, which is mocked. You'll hear all of us talk about it. And then MOO orders are market on open. So we are already mooing out right now because where's that cow, the money cow? Do you have that up there? I have it somewhere here. Where is it? We'll find it at some point. But the cash cow off the open, there it is. Here it comes. Doot, 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 doot. Sometimes these will create.
Why does it explode?
It just explodes at the end. I hope that no cows were hurt in the making of that. But a nice move up there for Ford. So I think it's just falsifies some of this. I still like it going here, but don't get carried away with some of these moves. We still have 20 minutes to go. And there's your AMC as well, but a small 100K bid. I am bidding AMC down near 16.
Go to Lyft beat, but there was some negatives to be aware of here. The chart, a bit of a mess. Aftermarket yesterday on Lyft, we test higher all the way to 43. We're all the way down to 38, but it's looking pretty positive here. Back above 41, trying to hold. The revenue per rider in the quarter number was a nice beat there. 13.5% to the upside to $52, but basically everything else slightly shy of expectations, including the Q1 revenue forecast, which was not good for Lyft.
Yeah, that wasn't good. The actual number of riders wasn't good either. So the active riders was down, still below pandemic levels. I think it was 22 mil pre-pandemic. They came in 18 change, expected over 20. And that doesn't necessarily bode well for them. I think Uber's probably going to do a little better when they report tonight in that regard. And for the profit they swung, that's an adjusted profit. But either way, I think it was a bit of a top line beat. It did break 40 even, and Lyft is notoriously thin pre-market. So I was looking pretty squarely at that 40 to 40-20 area just to see what could happen at the open. But there's not going to be a breakout trade, obviously, now that we've gone through. It's only done 600,000 shares here in the pre-market. On the daily chart, this is kind of what you were looking at here. You had the post-market moves, and then you had this 40 level that had a chance to be broken out of. And it has clean room to up to this 45-ish area on Lyft. I'm a bit surprised that we're getting this strong a reaction, given that there were some red flags in the report there. They're actually a little bit more expensive than Uber in some ways as well. So, look, I think now that you've already had this break at 40, I think it's probably a 45 fade, maybe a defensive 40 at the open, but you definitely want volume to come into this. And I do feel like Uber is going to be a better trade tomorrow. It always has more liquidity. I think more eyeballs on that one. And I think a better overall company. It's got international exposure. They've got the food service delivery. But today's about Lyft. 40 is already broken out. Let's see if it can hold support.
I haven't even looked at Lyft, but for right now, I just realized we were just talking about Peloton. So this 36, again, it's in the sticky note. I like this 36 level. The bottom really is going to be this 35, I feel like here. We had some good shorts. We were pretty patient yesterday. We had the 30 long yesterday, and you see what happened to that. It touches out at 40. Obviously, a lot of action up here at 40 on Peloton yesterday, so we'll see what happens today. But 36 down here, we're already bidding 36. I mean, we'll probably get this long. We're not bidding too far away. So we'll get some 36s long, and then we'll use it down to 35. What I was thinking and what I wrote on the sticky note was a break here of 39 I think is worth taking as well, because I believe a break of 39 gets us to 40, at least to a test, right? If not 39. It's not just going to break 39 and chill out. I really feel like if it takes 39, it's because it wants to look at 40 again. So if you get a 39 break, which I don't have the order in, but I should put it in right now. If we get a 39 break, then let's see if we can test 40. So I'm going to take that break of 39, and I'm also bidding down here 36, and I'm looking at 35 as an area where we'll just dump them and reevaluate if it does take down 35. So right now 36, bidding 36, trying to look at 35, and then thinking about a 39 break up to 40, but not playing in here, not playing between like, even right here, 30, like if I get a 36, we'll hold it, but I don't want to play in here. Between 38 and 36, I'm not sure what it's going to do. So I'm not sure what it's going to do ever, but for Peloton, I would much rather take a trade breaking through 39 than any of these levels, rather than 37, rather than 38. So let's wait to 39 break to get a clean move, hopefully back up to 40.
A bit of a downtick there for a couple of automakers. Anyways, the chip makers as well. Intel CEO saying he expects the chip wafer supply to remain tight through the end of 2023, which is longer than previous forecasts. Chip wafers are the actual plastic pieces that they use to imprint the chips on. So heads up on some of the chip makers. That's a bit of a downer. Goldman also just out saying their year-end forecast for the 10-year now 2.25%, which is not that bad considering we got to 196 yesterday on the 10-year. So heads up on those two things. Let's go to Ford. They announced a new agreement with Siemens today for charging stations, or specific charging stations for the new F-150 Lightning. So multi-year agreement with Siemens for Ford.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already in this name, so we're already in at 1802. It was the #1 name on the sticky note. I really like the idea. Nothing about the news. Like, I don't know what that news means, and I don't really care too much. I mean, the electric vehicle game is already on. EVs are going to be a thing for all of these makers to continue to talk about. GM, Ford. The problem is GM's earnings weren't great. Ford follows. GM followed Ford. And then, we had that move down. We took down 19, which sucks. Like the minute we broke through 19 here, I mean, it came from 26 bucks all the way down to 19, which is crazy move already for Ford. And now it's just trying to get some good news going here. So it's trying to break out. This 18 top is what we're looking at. That's where we're long right now. So we're long into Ford, into 18. I also like back here at 17 and change. So let's wait to see what happens. Like, I'm bidding down here. Hopefully, I'll give you my price. Where am I bidding? I'm not bidding till 80s, but I'm bidding down here. Hopefully we get a fill. If it comes in, hopefully we get the fill. I don't even want it to come in. We're already long here. If it continues to go up, that's great, but let's just test 18. I feel like it's breaking out now out of this level. That's a trade that we like. Little bit nervous about the NASDAQ, a little bit nervous about the futures and the ES as well. But Ford continues to work up that 2%. Let's just see what GM is up, because if GM is
it's 1%.
Down 1%. Okay, so
okay,
at least it's up. So at least it's up, and that's sort of what I wanted to find out was. And again, you see GM not even close to breaking back above. That has to be 55. So Ford is already trying to go back to this side of things. So, I'm going to be in this. I like the name. I like the opportunity. And Ford's going to be probably my I don't know, most traded stock today. Who knows? But that's what I'm thinking.
So, I mean, I'm actually on the bid of GM here, and I just see you get that wick bottom here yesterday at the open, where it just flushed through support at 48, ramped back, manages to close above this 49, where exactly where it failed in the morning was at 49. If I zoom a little bit further out so you can see, this is also that 39 level. You go back a week and you had support multiple times at 49. You break back above, you put in that support in the afternoon at 49, and I want to be buying in front of that level. So it was a double bottom before. You spend one day breaking below it and then immediately recover. So I'm going to be long on GM in front of that just because I like the technical setup. It has to dip at the open for me to catch it. There's also, I mean, right now it could be a 50 break as well with about 10 minutes to go with the open. I'd much rather be buying the dip if I can, but it's still pretty valid on a 50 break. And for a few people have asked, like, why would you take a short in Sundial? Canopy had a good report. So I will go over it just very quickly. Remember, we're day trading, and we also have low fees when we're trading. So to me, when I look at a double top at 55 and support probably down somewhere in this 50 range, maybe down at 48, like these little clusters down here, the risk reward is risking 1 cent to make anywhere from 2 to 5, right? So when you're not paying a lot of fees, that's the kind of trade that makes sense for a day trader. You can also look at a breakout if you like. I just think the last time it did that at that 55, you can kind of see like it was a couple of pennies when it was trying to reclaim that level and it rolled over. So I'm not convinced it doesn't have to break that 58 before it really starts going. So I'm short of 55. 56 is a double top, so I'm risking essentially 1 cent to try and capture a few. Like that's the idea. It's gapped up. Sometimes you get that retrace, but I just like the setup.
So we're going to go back to PayPal here, and we'll talk about Canopy in a minute, as Canopy is also obviously off that report. So that's NDL right there. We tried PayPal yesterday and made a little bit and then lost. So this was a flat trade down here before we get out. Like it breaks 119, then the bottom is 118.50, and then we close up with a nice run up to 120.60. Today you're getting another bump up for PayPal, which I say another, but it hasn't been bumped up very often. But if it does fade back in, why not? Let's go again here. 120 long on PayPal. If we can grab that, then I believe that we have some upside targets of 125. Like I just feel like you gravitate to some of these levels. Like if PayPal goes, it should go to 125 here, 124, like 124.60. Some of these bottoms here, it's going to be hard to zoom in and out. But here's 123.25. Here's your 124 area. So it's not that much work to get back to 124, man. So let's see if that can go in. I'm buying PayPal after the show today to get more exposure in this name. It's been my worst name by far here in the last 6 months. I actually just looked at my account. I'm down like 10% or so on my long-term account, which I'm feeling like is a success story for me, considering what I hold. But right there, 123.15 or so is a good break, but I don't want to take a break on PayPal. I'd rather let it come in case people are still negative on that, back to 120. Let's go over marijuana quickly here, CGC, as we'll look at that. Big report today for sure. No target on profitability yet. That's disappointing. But they have trimmed some of their assets that weren't working quite well. Vaporizing, things like that. There's a few notes in our watch list. But again, this will come back down for sure today. Up 5%. You've already seen the move. Makes a big move on earnings. And people are like, oh, marijuana stocks are up. Might as well sell them. And then right back to the downside. So the only note that I have on the sticky note here is short 10. And it's just, I don't know if we get up to there, but probably we don't. But right into here is $10. So, we haven't seen it since we broke it. It danced around 980. I think 10 is too far from here. I mean, that's a 25% move up from these levels, but we'll short it into 10. Like if we get 950, 9 something, and you might not think that's possible, but honestly, these names can run like crazy off the open. So let's wait to see if that comes through here. We'll be waiting upside on Canopy. I'm not shorting this 870. It may want to take that. I'm going to wait for 10. I might have no trades at all on Canopy today. I'm negative in this space, although I'm a big shareholder, not account size anymore, but I have played in this space, and unfortunately, look at it. Look at this. Actually, look at someone layering the bid right here. You want to talk about probably illegal activities? Look at this. Those
are all legit.
Yeah. Look what this person's doing. They're trying to create this, falsify this to go up, so that people will be able to get short in here. And then and look how far back this person is. Yeah, you're really brave, bro. You're like 2 pennies away. Put it right here. Put it right here. Put it right here, and see what happens. But right now, you'll see they'll probably follow this up to 12. Now, ooh, where did all the orders go? Magically canceled right now, Neil. So all that buy demand is now gone. Wouldn't be surprised if it shows up now 13, 12, 11. Get that algo ready to go. Push Canopy up, man, so we can short it.
A few EV names to get through here. We talked about XPeng, NIO, Tesla as well on a recall, guys. So Tesla up 1.75%. All of them basically at session highs here. A few people talking about that, but I want to get to CGC as well. As you mentioned there, Sean, pretty positive off that report, but on its way back to the downside.
Look at this again. Sort of get excited there, but I just wanted to show you guys. Look what just happened again. So here it comes back again. all the size just magically comes back here again. The exact same size, the exact same everything. You know, nothing on the ask of any substance. This is probably the same person right there trying to get short at 820, and you're going to see now, watch, these will probably disappear, and then he'll put them a little bit higher. So anyways, that's what's happening right now with Canopy. I thought we were already on marijuana stocks because they came back and you were talking
I know,
about
that's my bad.
SNDL
I'll say this,
there.
if they're smart, they put that on a New York stock, they put those orders on the NYSE book because those they're not eligible to fill until the stock opens up, and you'll see that game get played. It's just crazy how often you see some of these nonsense things. By the way, we're talking NEO and XPeng a little bit there. Bit of a bump in all of these names. Like NEO just broke up at the high. I know Ford just made a bit of a move up, but this is NEO taking out the top. I just saw Uber make a bit of a run here. So a lot of these names starting to get to the upside. XPeng was the one I liked on a bit of a dip, because usually it's a trap. So we'll have a look at these. Of course, the news was XPeng getting, I forget the name of that, what it's called again. Yeah, but Stock Connect program. So it's XPeng news affecting NEO as well. Some
sort of a designation there. Look at Ford, man. We're already the carnival is already happening on Ford. We've already got our 14s out right there. So, long at 02. I mean, pretty clean. Long at 02, out. We are still in 80% of this trade. So next target on the upside is 20s, and then we'll go from there. But right now we are already cooking with gas here on Ford. So with that being said, we have the GOAT up next at the big screen.
One little one that we haven't mentioned, MITQ up here on earnings, in fact, which is a big surprise. Blew out their report this morning here in the pre-market, so up to 165 at the top there in the pre-market. This thing has room to 180, and then above that you're looking at 250. Absolutely crushed over the past couple of months, along with basically everything else. So 165 at the top, and then if it starts holding above that, 250 comes into play, guys, for MITQ.
Yeah, there was a little one, IFDB. Actually, you won't see me in short this one right now. It's actually barcoding at about $1.12. And one of the reasons, we had Michael Loss on from Trade Ideas, and he pointed something out that we've been talking about a little bit as well. When you get some of these stocks that have been under pressure and made a bottom, have a look, rounding off that bottom, and then breaking out of that low. So this is like Sundial, sure, it could stop me out at 56, but it actually hasn't broken definitively out of some of these ranges yet. And that's what you want to see. This is gapping above that range, which also happens to be exactly $1, the top end of that range. So I think it's got some support potentially at $1. If it does fall, I'm just looking to catch the bid at 2s and 3s in front of $1 today on this IFBV. Of course, if it breaks 1, I'm likely to just get out of it pretty quickly there, guys. But it's just one of those, I'm going to take a shot at that. When you see something like that where it looks like it's breaking, it was at the bottom of our watch list there. It's InfoBird. And this is, it's like a micro cap company as well. So it's not necessarily big, nothing crazy there. Facebook just made a run to the upside. PayPal also breaking highs. Looks like just about everything I watched was breaking away, and it looked like we could have gotten some of these bids falling back in, but right now it looks like things want to go the other direction. I still think XPeng might be a track, so I'm gonna wait for that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to wait for NEO as well. Mamma mia, I'm super happy that we have this trade, but realistically I have 20% of the size that I wanted not that I wanted, but that I was planning on getting at some point here on Ford. I really did think we would dip down there. We just got a 19 fill on Ford. And if you're part of our community, great, because this is what we talked about. As I was taking this fill, I was talking about this fill. So, I mean, I told you I was waiting at 1802 or 03. Surprise, it's 02, and we actually get the fill down there. I printed a lot of volume. I could have had unlimited amount of shares down here, so that sucks because now it's ripping up. So I'm putting more shares down here and more shares down here at 1780. So I'm either going to make a huge mess of this or what. But I'm already, now I'm not, but I was already up more in the pre-market than I sort of was yesterday at the end of the day when this thing was at 20. So, so far so good here today. And I'm just trying to review some of the names because like Neil mentioned, the futures are coming down a little bit and some of these names getting cracked, but not NEO. You mentioned XPEV maybe going the other way. NEO is taking out highs right now at 25.80. So this is the stock that I'm trying to push through 26. But again, I don't want to take the break. I'd rather put these bids down here, which they are, waiting to get long on NIO on a dump down. That's a trade idea. Peloton's another trade idea that we have. I'm trying to go long here 36. I'm actually going to cancel that right now and put it a little bit. Actually, I'll put it. I was too many shares. I'll put it a little bit lower down here. I'll put the same price, but less shares. Peloton, trying to defend 36. We'll see if it takes down 39. That's an idea. AMD, we have an idea as well. Oh, this is off. Coming back in, though. It just touched 129.50, so maybe we get a 128 that we're looking for here. Ford's still going. And then CGC, we've already reviewed that. I don't think there's going to be anything happening with CGC today other than some manipulation, which, what a surprise. As the market gets ready to open, dude is gone.
Those won't be there at the open.
Right now. There goes Ford. Going to take out this 1820. Damn it.
Here comes Peloton on the downside.
That's a great trade there for Ford. Just wish we had more. We are waiting for Peloton, of course, so let's see.
Tim is going to be on that bell. I like 35 and 33 on Peloton, but either way, that 40 level, if we ever get there, that's probably the only confident level that you can have in terms of resistance. You will see me in that ECOL. That's the deal that got announced, 48 cash. I think it's a fade around the 50 level. I'm already taking that trade once. I'm probably likely to go back to low. Did I trigger that a second too early?
Oh my God.
One
Ford
second too early, but here we go. Market coming sideways. I saw the XPeng actually turning around here, guys. 3, 2, and 1. That was a fill break. Bring it.
All right, so we are into NIO here. We got a nice little bid there. Check out Ford, man. Ford is we just took some out at 28s and 30s there as Ford continuing to rock and roll here. So let's watch out what they're not even open yet. So Ford, lots of damage to be done there possibly. Okay, here comes NIO. We're already in this, but it's not open yet. So we got to fill here on NIO. We are going to look at this 24 low area here like we talked about it in the pre-market. We looked at some ideas down here, maybe a dip down below 24.50, and we can get out of this one. As there we go. Come on, just open up Ford. We're looking at that name for something to trade here.
And just looking back in, CFVI 50 cents away from that 17 level, so no break. DWAC goes the other direction, so that 87 level not coming to place. DWAC just plunges once again. Only want that break, just want to make sure it happens. And it looks like GM has already gone off to the races. DWAC,
come on, Ford,
where's
open.
The bottom going to be? Maybe it's like an 80 level. And Facebook is actually trying to take out 225. But look at the whipsaw action at the open. You got to let this one settle down. We plunge up. We go up to 225. We're already coming back into 223. Back and forth at $2 range. Let something like a Facebook settle.
All right, I'm going to take a piece out here on NIO as it's now open. We got, bang, we got some big winners today, guys, already. So some good ideas here. Ford, winner. NIO, now 20 cents in the money. Ford, now 25 cents in the money. Peloton, we're in it. We're going to hold that one and see what happens at Peloton. But NIO now cooking with gas up here, 25.50. Let's go NIO all the way to the upside here. Let's see if it wants to look at $26 here today for NIO. There goes Ford up to 35. Mamma mia. Ford just continuing to make some cash.
Yeah, and we're right at 36 on Peloton. I'm sitting in front of 35 even. Looks like it's about to, actually it's churning through this level, like 10 cents below, 20 cents above, and we're just barcoding in a minute sense here on this Peloton. If it breaks back to the upside, I don't want to move that stop. Facebook is now starting to roll over a little bit more heavily. 220, that's the key level from yesterday. That's a level we want to defend. And look at this market starting to come back in pretty heavily. Kind of thought it would be an update. Here comes PayPal as well. Going to wait for our price area that we're talking about. I want in front of that 120 and 120 only. And speaking of, well, I mean, you guys know I'm already in Sundial. Look, I'm trying to get some shares out, 52.5, 53. That was the risk reward we're sitting in. I haven't even checked in on CGC. My assumption is it's probably falling too.
Yeah, if that's always going to be your assumption, you're probably always going to be right. Okay, so right now, there goes NIO. We did take a little piece out of that here. We got some out at 48. We got some out at 30. And now we're waiting for 55s is the next spot to get out. And then we're waiting for 26 flat. So come on, NIO. Yes, bang on NIO. A nice little trade right there. You know, got some little Ali G action going on. We do average into our Ford as we cleaned it out on the upside. So now we're, reloaded into this name. And let's see if Ford can work now back up to the upside. We still don't have the shares that we want. I'm waiting down here at 18. If it does fall down, then we can take that a little more aggressively. Peloton can kind of just hold my beer right now. And I'll address it when I'm thirsty because it's not right now. Although there it is. We'll just take out 30 cents on Peloton, though, on a good idea to defend that 36. 26. Let's see where we go now. Yes, sir. Now we on fire again. NEO to the upside. Great trade here on NEO as that's starting to go. Let's see if we can see 26 on this one, guys. So big day so far. Hope you guys are doing good.
Brendo?
Big mover yesterday, guys. SOPA, S-O-P-A, big pop back higher. They announced a warrant offering aftermarket yesterday, so it was down significantly, but huge volume back to the upside here for SOPA.
Was one I forgot about that one. It was the warrant offering. Lyft, by the way, just got taken out to the downside of the low of the day, and it held 39, so it could be worth a look there. That DCFC just went to 14 and turned on an absolute dime here. If it catches a bit off 12, that's previous high yesterday at 12, that could be a place to jump into it. I'm going to rinse and repeat that e-call over and over again, but CFVI pulls back to 16 even. And Lyft looks like it's going to be the one that first enters into possible buy range. It pops down to 39. Wick bottom through the low of the day on the earnings release, and now trying to trade back above here. It's at that 40 level. I only want to be buying it in front of 39.20, and GM probably gone. Facebook on the reversal, big time reversal Facebook. And Peloton is 20. It's 35 or bust for me. I kind of want to wait till that range when it gets to that downside. CFBI just bounced off 16 even. That can be a level as well.
Oh, man, Ford. Let's go. Ford on the reload. And I have a good announcement to make. Trader Pratt is in the building today for our show, so he will be back on Market Movers. Trader Pratt and Arun going to be live. The dynamic duo coming through one more time there today, so we're really happy to have Pratt back. AMC is rocketing. Damn it. It made me look, I guess, on this one. Ooh, there it is. Damn you. Oh, as if. What am I bidding on AMC? I'm bidding 16 flat. That thing goes to 16.12. I was at 16.02. AMC is indeed rocking. And here we go. We are now into AMD finally as that comes right in. So, yeah, never too shy to take a little bit of profit here on AMD. So there it is right there, out already for 30 cents. We get that 128.50. We told you we were bidding that, so hopefully you were too. Let's see if we can take 40 cents. Boom! There's another one. What exactly are we on today, guys? Fire off the hot dog cannons. Everything working out. We're in the money on everything here. Ford, 17 cents on the money on a reload. Back to highs. AMD, we just took out 50 cents. And NEO's been a good trade today. Ooh, big size on NEO right now. So even as the market falls down, all three longs starting to work now. And Peloton, we took out 40 cents and waiting for that. That's a flat trade for me right now.
Yeah, and the one that I'm still waiting for is going to be that Xpeng. I'm on that 125, sorry, 128 level as well. But I think AMD has to get a little bit tighter that to me. Of course, Xpeng's on the New York NEO. Xpeng's still trying to hold above that 40 level, so it's showing some relative strength here to some of these names that are rolling over. 40 is a big level. I think it can be defended maybe once. CFVI's broken 16, and DWAC is resisting 87, so looks like they're going in opposite directions. Brendo?
Good day or start anyways for some of the airlines, guys. UAL popping up here on volume, already 2% up to $48 here for UAL. We saw 3 days in a row now back higher for airlines.
All right.
And if you're watching CCL here, guys, that 23 level, I think pretty sure we went over the 23 level. At least we talked about it in the chat. It just broke above and put a failed break on your 15-minute. If you haven't seen this is the last time. Whoops, zoom back out here. The last time it got to that 23, it had a break, got to 23.30, and reversed hard. That got you to the double bottom at 18 even. That's why I had some concern that you could put a bit of a fail break in. And I see that wick top.
As if.
That's going to be a short for me on CCL. You've got a consolidation here maybe in the mid-80s. You short it to that high of the day. And again, last time it got to this price range, it was a bit of a rejection. As I mentioned, I'm going to move from, I don't know why I have CFEI up there, guys. DWAC looks like it's the one that has a chance to take out the high. It's lingering at that 87 area, but CFEI feels like it's a little bit dead. I got into Lyft, scalped them out for profit. Oh my goodness, Facebook.
I know, that's what I was just saying, like, as if the day that I'm not on Facebook is the day that it does this. So
Really?
Facebook, I mean, whatever, this is great. Like, I told you, swimming with the fishes, we're long Facebook 222 there. So, you know, we already made that call and tweeted that out. That's where we're long on Facebook right now. So that's a good trade. Ford, again, we just took some out 30s, like, off this reload. I told you we'd be executing a lot of trades in Ford today. Already 22 fills. And look what else we're doing, man. Rocking. AMD rocking. NEO rocking days high right now. Peloton, let's go Peloton, as we are destroying this name as well on Peloton. Holy crap. All the way to 37 and change. Yeah, let's go Peloton right now. Long in the money, $1 there. We should have took that out. I don't know. I was just watching that go through 37 there. Yeah, if it goes again, we will get an offer out, as there is some size there on Peloton. So maybe we'll just cancel that and just take it out before 37 here, as why not? There's some size there as well. There you go. 94 is an out on Peloton. Hello. Some good. There we go. Hello, Peloton. What is going on today? If you have looked at the sticky note, good. If you haven't, then sorry about that, because right now, AMD, Ford, look at Ford, destroyed Ford today. NEO, monster trade today for NEO. Like, look at this bid that we have, 25, taking out 26 right now. And then Peloton, $1 in the money. Yeah, good day, man. Unfortunately, I have to keep trading, otherwise I'd stop. But so far, so good here. AMD, 50 cents now in the money. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, all three trades for me going to be in the money, but it's DWAC that I'm going to come back to here, guys. Just trying to be patient with this name. You're at the open, you break 27, you have a failed break, you're at 87. That's clearly the key price. Facebook just continues to go. I think 230 is going to be a bit of a level there. But if you look at the consolidation that's happening, all we got to do is take a new break here on DWAC if it holds the top. And I think you could be squeezed central. CFVI is going the other way. Sundial continues to fall. I got into Lyft, not Uber. Took one area of profit. I think 42 can be resistance on Lyft. That's going to be the next out. But DWAC, it just feels it has to go one way here. And I finally got into AMD just now, 128.25. Brendo?
Tilray here, guys. TLRY, CGC obviously pushing back to the highs, but Tilray just popped up on volume as well. So 655 was that pre-market high, big volume alert. 5% for Tilray as well.
Yeah, I'm going to get out of AMD. It's not, I mean, I'll probably wind up regretting this, but I mean, the market's up here and AMD is going down. So we're going to make sure that we put the money in our pocket on AMD and just forget about it, because this is not, obviously for me, not trading properly. So we're going to get out of this one and just put the money in our pocket. We're destroying everything else. So what is the point of sitting here for me anyways on AMD? It's just, we'll get out. If it goes back up to flat around this 128.50, then we'll get out. It probably will be a mistake, but that's fine. We've already putting this money in our pocket on AMD. So let's see. Here it goes. Come on, get me out. Thank you. There it is. A nice out for AMD right there. And now let's see where it goes. But NEO, this is much more of a concern. 25.80 right there, as we've done really well on it. I thought that was over today, man. But that's okay. Yeah, because put my account out right now on fire as we get ready to rock and roll. Peloton, good out on Peloton, guys. Up to 37. So far so good on this one. And then that's it, man. We'll just watch out for some of these trades.
Yeah, going to ring Reggie on AMD there. It bounces off that 128 nicely. Ignore this wick down here. This did not go down to 127. It never violated 128. Just took the 50-cent scalp. If it gets up to that 130, remember, we have upside resistance potentially at 132 here, guys. So even if it takes out that high, you do have upside resistance. As I mentioned, I'm going to be in that e-call from time to time, just going back and forth. And now PayPal catches finally the bid. So waited patiently for PayPal to come in off that 120 level. You'll see that first dip. I got the 50s long, try to shoot to 20s. I'll take some out in front of 121, try and rinse and repeat this off of support here on PayPal. So might not have been able to get Facebook on that, wait for it to settle down, wait for the key level to hold. Yesterday, with that little bit of a rally, PayPal actually gives the entry. Facebook goes the other way. So obviously, Facebook, the stronger name.
Yep, and I'm going to look at Facebook right now. So I do have a bid down near 225, so we could probably get long very soon on this. The bottom is going to be 224. I'm not going to mess around with this thing. We already saw it dip down to 222 where it was, and that's why I'm saying, like, this stock could go right back to 220, like, in a heartbeat, and we don't even, like, look at it the wrong way. It can go down. So watch out for that play coming through. Brendan, more news.
I mean, the good news is we're never, ever going to get caught in a fire, guys, so that's positive. AMC 5.5% here, barely, maybe the first red candle here, but dipped down off the open, but straight higher for AMC.
Yeah, I mean, also GameStop did make that break, but immediately reversed it. So it took out 118, went through 120, and immediately is reversed. Remember on the daily chart, that's that big level at 120. It's got to reclaim that to be a little bit more bullish here, because that feels like an early rejection. AMD is continuing to push to the upside here. It just got through 129. Look, it got sold off, and it rolled over off this top here on those upgrades. So I would expect you could have some resistance at 130. You know there's definitely something at that 120 level. level, but so far so good on that name. PayPal kind of tries to go the other way here. I'm not ignoring Sundial. It's just if it actually threatens that top, which it hasn't done, then I'll worry about getting out of that. If we bounce off 120 and PayPal, that would be an ad for me. It never gave me this fill since hitting 120.50. It never gave the fill up at that 121. So PayPal, despite the market looking relatively strong, you're seeing some weakness there. I don't think we covered Tesla, but for those of you that watch this name, Biden acknowledged them. 950 back in play, just touched off of 947. That's been a big level in the past, possibly why it's putting a bit of a turn in right now.
Yeah, we're definitely wrong on AMD as that just continues to go to the upside. I mean, we made some money on it, but we definitely dumped it down there at that 128. That's not a great call, needless to say there, on AMD. So watch out for that name as it's coming back in. I did have a short offer here on AMD, but never got filled. We'll wait to see if that does come in or not. But so far, so good. Ford at a reload spot right now as well. So Ford back down to 13. I think we should probably reload this. Let me just have another look here. The market's come back in pretty good. So we will reload this a little bit here at 11s or 12s or whatever the hell we just got there. We got 12. So we just put that reload in there at 12 and let's see what happens. There goes Facebook right now as well. So we are in this name right now. Wow. Target, I don't know. If we can take $1 on this, maybe up to 226 again here for Facebook. But again, I'm going to put the offer in right now. If we break that down below that 224, I'm out. So I'm not playing this game today with Facebook. If it wants to go upside, I'll be here for it. But if it goes down, then see you later. And I will not protect this position. So we'll take one more fill down near 224, like 224.50, something like that. And then obviously, if it dumps from there, we'll get out. So watch out here, Facebook, new position alert, right off the VWAP, right off this 50 period. Let's see if it continues to climb here. But NASDAQ doing okay, so I think we could have a winner on that one. Ford reload seemed to be pretty good there at 12. It gets as high as 19 there. So we'll put an offer. Here comes. We'll put an offer and get, there's Ford. Put an offer and get out of some of this. That was a good reload right there.
Yeah, and PayPal just relatively weak. There's no question about it here. If it gets close to that 121, I'm going to trim some of this position just so I can maybe get more off that 120. We're a little bit in front of that 120 level with a 60 entry here, so you got to be a little bit concerned that it's rolling back over. I saw Facebook pull back, the market trying to pull back. AMD feels a little bit safer. It's having some trouble back and forth at 129, but at least it's put a more convincing bounce in. But you got to keep in mind, like, they're positive on the day, but they're all pulling back at the current moment. Peloton, I've been waiting in front of 35, looking at that level. 34 is also pretty big, so probably two tests. It's just range bound. I mean, at some point it's going to break out of this opening range, and I think that's when I want to take an actionable trade. I'm just to check back in on Sundial. I still haven't looked at Canopy, but Sundial, it did make a pop at the open. Guess what level didn't break? That was 56. I got into like multiple positions at the open, so didn't really catch the curl, but I was already in position. It's still holding right down at 53. The targets are just to get the rest out in front of 50 even, so nothing has changed on that name. Lyft is the other one that it gave me the first exit on the way back up through 40, and now I'm waiting for that low of the day to get retested to take any kind of a reload in Lyft. You are seeing many names pull back in here showing their signs of weakness. Uber doesn't report till aftermarket, and they're also pulling back. So Uber tried to make a breakout, turned at 40. Can it hold its pre-market low at 38? I wouldn't trade both of them, but if Uber takes a low, pretty likely that we'll get stopped out in Lyft as well.
So all we're doing right now, people talking about CCL. I know you had CCL. I didn't look at CCL. Apparently it's ripping through 23, so we'll look at that in a minute. Just out of some NEO as that pulled back in, we're flat now. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. We only have 10%, so I miscounted there somewhere. There's a double in there somewhere. But we only have 10% left on this trade as that's working out. And then honestly, it's going to look insane. Not insane, but there's the reload, and there's some outs at 20 again, like we said. One at 18 and a couple there at 19s, and then one, I guess 19s. I don't think we have a 20 there out for Ford. So we'll watch out for that one. Peloton's top stock for me today as we got out there at 37 off that rip. But right now we're kind of just hovering around. We still are waiting for a 34 low on this name. So if it does come in, we will average into Peloton. But for right now, it's not doing as much as we had thought. AMD's not doing anything. I wish we would have got that short there. We talked a little bit about that. Trader Prad will be back for Market Movers. So So we're happy for that as well. So hopefully when I see him, we will make said announcement. What did I just get into there? PayPal. So PayPal finally, we are now into PayPal, down to 120. This is a level of concern. So there it is. We finally wait for this trade. It comes in. We have an upsized position on this. So now we wait for PayPal and see what happens on this one, guys. Look at the market, though. The marget's getting cranked.
Yeah, the market.
Come on. I can't go long and get a good position.
It's AMD right at 128 again, too. So you're at the bottoms on some of these. I mean, of course, the only two things I'm short are Sundial and Equal. Usually this time of day, I found something I like better. Man, it almost should have been DWAC, but two things are going to possibly break here. I think both PayPal and AMD are going to be under pressure. Worth noting that Facebook actually holding above, well, it was holding above 225 there, just broke it a couple of seconds ago. It has 220 support, so I almost don't want to trade it in that $5 range. Like either it holds above 25 or it tests lower and we're going long off that 220. Just want to make sure we're playing key levels there. And I talked about CFVI being a huge disappointment, but that stock, forget about a 17 break. It actually can't find any kind of a bid down here. So under a tremendous amount of pressure, CFVI, it looks like the rollover is on in all of these names. Even, like I said, DWAC, which looked like it was trying to break 87, or at least hold above 87, now down to 83. I mean, 80 has been a defensible level there, so maybe that can be a bit of a bottom. Crazy, crazy price movement. Right now, it's just about whether PayPal and AMD can hold their respective bids for me.
I see you, Scott H. Yeah, we're on PayPal, we're on Facebook, we're on we got all the longs. You can see them on the board there. One long that we don't have is CCL. Great trade through 23. I mean, that's, again, another one of those day breaks that we really like. Actually looks better, I think, on a 20-minute, does it? No, it doesn't look better at all on a 20. Whoa, we don't need those lines going through Fibonacci there. Yeah, so 23 must have been on the daily chart. There was some nice levels there. Yeah, here it is right here. What am I even doing? There's 23. It topped out there back on the 13th of January. It's made a nice move to the upside. And then there's that top wick, the same high that we made today, basically. So if you could take this out, 23.40 or whatever the high of the day is today on CCL, I don't mind that for a long, and then, trying to find a bid back in. We're bouncing off VWAP right now. That's 23 flat. 23 flat is the 50 period. For me, though, CCL might have some work to do to the downside. As look at the NASDAQ coming back in, the S&P holding out okay. We've already got our longs, and we're going to go back over and see what Brendan's up to.
ADGI, Adagio Therapeutics, little one just popping up here. All kinds of volume coming in on this thing, up 9% so far. No significant headlines I can see, but nice move for ADGI today.
And here comes 120 again. Man, PayPal just tried to get through 120.50. You see it reverse here. That was what my first offer was, just to take some out off this 120 bounce. And then we immediately reject it. I'll show you, it's getting tested at AMD right now, that 120. And unlike Square, by the way, at that 100 level, I didn't put the stop right at 128. I kind of wanted to give it at least a little bit of room, just in case it wicked down and tried to put a reversal on. Still be up on AMD because we did get that first tester out. As far as levels to come back to, on AMD, like you've got a lot of room, possibly back to this 126. That's the next place I would look to defend. Outside of that, you're looking at some 120s. Would have to get pretty specific there. And checking back in on Facebook, because it was so strong a little bit early on. Yeah, it's still actually above that 224, holding some of these pre-market lows, but everything's starting to roll over a bit here, and that's why you got to play caution. That's why I'm going to go back to XPeng, which is still on the New York, last I checked, Neil. It just broke 40 even. I was waiting for this to take up pre-market lows. I like 37, I like 35 for defenses. I think if those two prices come in, that's what I'm going to wait for. It might seem like, okay, you could be waiting all day for it, but if that's where I like to buy the name, and that's where I'm going to pick it up. I'm not going to chase it, not going to do anything too crazy, and only because obligatory, why not? And I am going to monitor it from time to time, but unless Sundial like rockets against me or something like that, I don't think CGC is going to be doing anything crazy. You see it hasn't even tested the high of the day. If this were to break the high of the day, I'm probably already stopped out at 56 on Sundial. I did get first target, still waiting for it to maybe make another move lower, but it is catching a bit of a bid here. And if you like Sundial, 56 break does give you some decent runway, but maybe only a couple of pennies into that 60 where it could find immediate resistance. AMD broke. PayPal about to
broke.
Break.
Yeah, we sniffed that one out. I thought AMD honestly seemed it was going funny. I mean, you had a good trade, good price. I think we both had. Are you net positive on it or no?
I did get the first target and I didn't reload.
So net negative on it.
No, I'm positive on it.
Positive on, good.
But
Yeah, I was going to say because.
But if I reloaded, I'd be down. I reloaded PayPal and I'll be down.
Yeah. No, I'm only saying that because we, both of us got out of the way, able to make a little bit of money there. So that's obviously key. Okay, we're long now. Facebook 224.70. So we'll take an opportunity right now to get that out as at VWAP. Not any of it. We got out 20% there for 20 cents. So let's see. Again, I don't want to drop this. I think this is going higher. I don't even have any more offers out until 226. So that's where we're looking right now as Facebook's starting to go. We did average into Ford, so let's go on Ford here. Oh, no, should have took that 11. Let's see if we get 11 again. There it is, 11 out. So there's the reload on Ford. This is a much more serious position than we had previously, obviously, on the reload right there. Yeah, PayPal, is that what you just said there?
Yeah.
I'm, you know what, Neil, I'm not worried about this one. I'm worried about it, but I'm going to give this one to the bottom, 1850. So look, if PayPal wants to smoke me to the downside, then hey, let's do that. Where's my smoking today? We'll do this. I think it holds up at some point here. I don't know. It's coming down. The market's coming down. I know this sucks. It's definitely a position that is crushing me right now. Okay, Facebook. About waiting for that price. No, it just ripped up right there for some reason. So we will take it out for $1. Give me that, Facebook. Give me that nut here to the upside. Oh, missed it again. We're at 70. So we'll see if we can get Facebook now to that upside as my net just ballooned. Bang, there it is right there. So yes, sir, we'll go on this one as now we'll wait. I canceled. I was at 225.90. I just took a 70 there, just could not, there it is. And now comes 90 as well. So there it goes, a nice win here for Facebook. We ignored Ford. Ford was going to the upside, but we did get some of those prints at 11 and 12. So right now, man, I'm already up 3 times more than I was yesterday at close. So I don't know if there's PayPal, Neil. All we had to do, bro, was talk about this. And then it goes right back to the upside. So let's take a piece out here on PayPal, where that's 40 cents in the money. We'll see if we can get that. That's all we needed to do, was give a little talking to. We were waiting to get longer down at 119. That doesn't happen, but come on, PayPal. You also can do it.
Yeah, it looks like Lyft is trying to do it as well. But with the market rolling like this, I'm going to take profit on, we're on the offer here. Why am I sitting? I was actually just sitting at like 90s, like right in front of 41. I'm like, nah, just kind of offer where it is, sitting in the mid 80s. I'm going to take the profit, reclaim the 40 level. Remember, it broke 40. It then tanked, made a fresh low, and then came back, reclaimed 40. So we're able to scalp it out. This one's going to be able to hold on. But you'll see now, like I'm out of the longs. At this point, the market is kind of trying to decide what it wants to do. So it's time to reset. I'm looking at CFVI, by the way, off that bottom. XPeng as well, maybe off pre-market lows, could be a bit of a play. But the CFVI just held 1560, and you're going to see a bit of a curl here happening on CFVI, bouncing through lows, right back upside. If it can hold a consolidation, there's still a chance it can break at 16. But XPeng off the pre-market lows looking pretty good too. Brendan.
Backed BKKT a couple of days ago, I think it was. We had this one that was moving around, crypto-related, guys, but big volume spike here at day highs for backed again.
BKKT. Okay, so PayPal is trying. My chair gets stuck there. PayPal is trying. There he goes. Oh, no, it didn't go yet. We are at, where are we at here anyways? Oh, we're at 50 flat. It probably should have been a little bit ahead of that 50 number. You never want to be sitting right at a 50 level. But Facebook right now having some hard times, but we're still $1.20 in the money on FB. I don't remember the last time I could say that, well, every day. But then we lose $5 when it goes back down. So watch out for that name coming through. I'm a little nervous here because the futures aren't really doing much, but I have been getting out of some of this Ford trade. We did load back up at 104. I told you that that's sort of the spot that we were looking for to get more shares on this name. So we've been emptying it out. We wanted a full-size position. We basically got it. So that's why we're getting out here as Ford really not working the way I thought it would. I thought Ford would be off to the races today, and I did say it would be my number one stock today as far as trades are going. Right now, it's my number one stock net, although NEO is approaching that level as well. Yeah, here it comes right back in. It looks like PayPal did not give us said nut as it came right back down. So hopefully we can come back up there. We are waiting at 50. I'm going to cancel that and go like mid. Nah, I'm not going to cancel anything. I still think PayPal goes back to like 122 and change. Let's just take some out here to relieve relieve some pressure.
And watch out for this Xpeng, guys. Look at how long it's been holding, trying to hold this pre-market low. It had the failed break. It still hasn't rolled over. If it takes out the bottom, it's a short setup for me. So I'm gonna be looking at this, a 39, it looks like 39.40 or so break. You have 40 up at the top here, so it's about 60 points of risk. And because I thought first support's at 37 and then 35, the risk to reward it's calling to that trade. So we get a break on Xpeng. We're looking to buy the dip, but at this point it's setting up for a breakdown short at 39.40. CFBI tried to hold above 16, it did not. So gonna have to hold off on catching a bottom there.
Yeah, I'm going long CFVI the minute it breaks 16.10. So just to look at that. I did like this trade, obviously breaking through 17, but we will take it breaking through 16.10. So, and we'll see where it wants to go. What's the bottom? 15.60. So probably worth it on that one. We'll see if that can go through right now. We'll wait for that to come out. So hopefully it does. Everything else rocking right now, man. We're doing quite well on a lot of these positions. I'm just going over right now, and thank you for all the support, guys. Check out Sticky Note at TraderTV Sean, hashtag Sticky Note. You can definitely have a look there. I guess Peloton's not going to take out. Well, Peloton's doing pretty good now, 55 cents in the money. I don't know why we kept on waiting. We should have just been averaged in down here more, but we still have this Peloton trade. I just canceled my 39 break because if it breaks now, do I really want it? I mean, we'll have to wait. We're already long down here nicely on Peloton, 36.10. We've got 50 cents in the money on this name. And then there we go. Now, okay, oh no, sorry. Thought Ford was going, it's not going. I looked at my net and thought that that's, where I was unrealized, but no. So hopefully that can go back up to the upside here for Ford, Facebook trying to move. And we're still waiting for that PayPal. Oh yeah, as if. Like I should have moved my price. Just go. Hit me at 50 and let's get this party started here. There it is. Yes, sir. So already, man, yeah, we'll go WTF on PayPal because next stop on this one, guys, 122. So let's go, man. We're already in. Let's go, PayPal. Net exploding right now. So far, so good here. We just need Facebook and Ford to go. Everything else is gas right now. Peloton, big time move here on Peloton, back up $1.
Yeah, you're seeing Enphase. By the way, Enphase a huge mover on earnings. It just absolutely rolled over big time here. It's at the 160 level. It wasn't even on my radar until it started to pull back into this 160. And just you look, go to the daily chart. This is your 158 previous top on the way down to what was a 110 double bottom. So right in front of that 157 is kind of where you'd expect support to come in. It's forget these wicks. 160 is the bottom. I think you can enter. Well, I'm going to enter here, but it's $3 worth of risk here, guys. Like you're risking to that 157 level, but Enphase finally on the radar. It is 10 o'clock. It is time to go to Brennan at the big screen for Happening Now.
Hey guys, positive number just out there. Wholesale inventories month over month up 2.2% versus 2.1 expected. So a beat on that. So we are getting a little bit of a tick higher here for the indexes. 1% now for the S&P, the Dow 0.77, the Russell, all three of them nicely higher on the day. It is the NASDAQ trying to lead once again though. More than a full percent for tech stocks at this point today. We were talking, or had Tesla at least on the watch list this morning. Did break back below some pre-market support here after testing highs right at the open. Still up a full percent though for Tesla. AMD on an upgrade as well, was nicely higher in the pre-market. Yeah, not so much. It has come all the way back and then some, guys.
We're going to just be wrong, it looks like. Not be wrong, but I don't want to risk anything here. We're like Ford is the only name that's not working. We're $1 in the money on Facebook. Huge trade. PayPal, like we've just, oh my God, I had two outs there. That's a mistake. Did not mean to get out twice. But look at PayPal right now. Still moving, man. $1 now. $1 in the money right now on PayPal. So there it goes, man. We talked about being as patient as we could be. And even when Neil said like, oh, watch out PayPal, I was like, I want more down here at 119, but we didn't get it. There it goes, blowing up to the upside. My only mistake was taking too much profit. And you know, when you've got 99 problems and profit isn't one, then you're doing pretty good. So right now, we'll go money bags out here. Absolutely no losing trades today, guys. AMD, winner. Ford, speaks for itself. Facebook, let's go on Facebook. NEO, huge trade. Peloton, 50, I mean, we're still in all these. PayPal, $1. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 6 here. I hope you are enjoying the show.
Yeah, for me, my stop was clean at that 120 level, so I'm going to get out every single time. Stop on sundials at 56. I did accidentally go long because I got a profit take and didn't adjust my stop order. So I'll get an accidental long. I get out of it right away. I'm not even paying the spread. Not going to hold on to it. And one of the reasons why, like I said about sundial, it has almost like immediate resistance up to like this 58, 60 level. If you like a break, fair enough. If it comes back low and puts a fail break in, then I'm probably going to jump back into the trade. But the 56 was always going to be the stop out. I did, like I said, I got into end phase. Just one thing I didn't talk about there is, look, the stock has gone absolutely bonkers today, both gapping up. And it's a monster range, right? Like it gapped up from a 140 close to like 180. So that's $35 after market. It just pulled back 20 bucks, and the support's possibly at 157 looking at the daily chart. So risking 3, like I'm not taking anything out till it goes up to this 166. And even then, if it starts to pop back in, I think 170 is even a reasonable target out here. So it's a $160 name, but you're giving it $3 to $5 till your first look. And even if it were to break down and take out 157, I'd probably be looking for that level again. So it's up 12%, but just have a look, zoom out, see how volatile this name is.
Guys, thank you so much for all the love, but we are definitely wrong here. Well, not wrong. We just took some Ford out as it just ripped upside. We are like cooking with fire right now, man. I am debating getting out of Facebook at least one more year, up at 226 for that $1.50, guys. And, you know, today we're 6 for 6. We talked about it yesterday. We only got positive. There it is. Bang. We only got positive yesterday at the end of the day. So shout out to everybody there. Thank you for all your kind words. But, you know, we're just trying to do the best here. Put on a good show. It's all about entertaining. It's all about education there. And, yeah, we will continue to have this fun. We're in the money. $1 PayPal, $1 Peloton, $1 Facebook. What's up, Brendo?
Earnings name, guys. Just working my way through some of these. Fox or Fox A, depending on what you want to look at. Fox A doing more volume, just a little bit thinly traded today, up 4%. Earnings beat for them, guys.
Yeah, certainly. And watch GM start to run, guys. I'm gonna cancel my bid. I always say, like, once a stock goes a certain distance, you probably don't like the dip buy anymore, because in order for you to get filled, things have to drastically change. And now that we've retaken 51 on General Motors, it's clearly just gone at this point. So going to end up missing out. It looked like a lot of names rolling over at the open, or at least trying to. GM's certainly not one of them, so it's going to only go to the upside. I did check Tesla a little bit earlier for you guys. Did not get back to that 950. Looks like it's only put in a reverse, but guess what? It's holding pre-market lows. The EV names have been sort of all over the place this morning, with Ford and GM looking stronger. Tesla up on the day, but they did have a recall that I don't know if we talk too much about there. But either way, Tesla about to break day's low. And yeah, that CFVI, I still want to try to get the bottom pick on it. Guess what it's doing? Like, it's just, it cannot get back above and hold this 16 even area. It's still got what is like a reverse head and shoulders. You got the wick bottom. You then have a higher low at about 1580. So it is set up pretty nicely for a potential break, but it's got to hold above 16 even. And then end phase starting to go. You know, we had that, I didn't even say anything on this stock because it was at 178. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't go long until it retests around 160. So what's the point? And then you actually get a curl into that price. Ignore these dark pool wicks. These are all at yesterday's close. Those are just late reporting. It has held 160. Even if 160 were to break, the level of concern would be, for me, right back up here, 157, 158. It's got to test that before I think that the long is wrong. Catching a falling sword. They beat on earnings, but got sold off heavily, people jumping to take profit in this name.
All right, we'll exit out right now of NEO. Well, we tried to. Now it's coming back down. Good out there on PayPal, guys. Just wish we would have loaded back up down there, but that's okay. We did. I told you we had an oversized position for us, so that was good. 120.25 right there. We just took a piece out at 121.50, so that's a buck and change. We only have one piece left now on this name, so we'll wait to see. There goes CFVI. So it broke but didn't continue. So yeah, we'll get a little piece out if we can on this name, but just a little piece if we can get it out. It did break to the upside, so we'll get some out there at 16 and hold the rest. Again, that's a try, right? We tried it there. We got long at, so it looks like we will have a negative name on the board if it doesn't go back up. But that's the break. And we tried it right there, didn't go. So that's that. We're going to give this back here. At this point, why not? Let's give it to the day's low. 1560. We break there and we'll get out. Otherwise, that was a whopping 14-cent hit there on CFVI. So we will wait to see if we can make that money back I think we could still test 17, but I'm just not going to take shares there and it not working and hold it. So we'll hold it back down here to 1560. We'll try to average in somewhere, but if it takes this bottom out, then we're gone on CFVI. Hey, the People's Trader tried it for you, and it just did not work, but everything else seems to be working, so we're happy with that.
Yeah, GameStop, by the way, up sub 3%, but that 120 level, which did break at the open, looks like it's turning into a bit of resistance once again. This is what it looks like on the daily, just to refresh your memory. It was a support level as well. There's some size at this 120. One more rejection here, and again, look, it kind of went parabolic through 118, like one little pop rejection, and I'm probably going to try a short here. We did like the long if it had given you any kind of a consolidation break, but that's not what happened in the morning. We flushed to 113 and then took out 120. Like, that's exactly what I mean about it traveling too far and then you don't like the breakout. It just took 120 now, so it looks like that trade's going to be out. Just to reiterate, end phase, my first target isn't until just above 164. I'm looking about $3.50 on the first target. That's 1-to-1 with the stop. Brendo?
A couple days in a row here for this new bank, NU, off and running once again. Just broke through that high from the pre-market and didn't look back. Right through to 950, guys, for NU.
NU, okay.
Again?
Yeah, that's an interesting name for sure. Good outs there a little bit anyways on Ford. As Ford just ripped up there, we are going to try to get some more down here, but it's not going to be like these were, I told you I got the position I wanted. It's just the futures were going up and everything else was rocking. PayPal, Facebook, everything. And this just wasn't going. And then eventually it took off. I just wish we didn't have these outs here, but it's just a conservative play. We'll take it one more time here. Ford's still my number one stock. Well, no, that's not true. Facebook, my number one stock. PayPal, my number one stock. Peloton, they're all right here for that. Good out on not a good out on CFVI. Sorry, good hold here on CFVI as that's come back a little bit, back through 16. So we'll see, man. The dream is still alive on this one for the long. AbbVie, wow. This has been a darling of my portfolio, man. I bought this one hand over fist, guys. $60 in the doldrums of COVID there. And you could see what this is doing. Okay, Peloton, I see you. There goes Peloton through 37 for the first time here. Well, not for the first time. It's trying right now to go through and take these highs. There we go. Nice little trade here for me on Peloton. $1.20 now in the money. Off the sticky note, we talked about defending these levels. Here we go. Let's go to the upside. We're still looking at 39 here. Yeah, volume picking up, baby, right now on Peloton. As that, I mean, look at the winners we have today. Facebook, $1.50 in the money. PayPal, $1.20 in the money. Peloton, $1.40 in the money. Ford, whatever. We already talked about that. NEO, we got out with a good trade to get out of that one. And then now we just wait for CFVI. But other than that, man, it's a good day today. Roblox up as well. That's another name. Thank you, Fabian, there in the chat. We do want to look at Roblox.
Yeah, and another one that just got to the upside there. I mean, a firm got to 70 even. So anytime you get a round number like that, it's on a firm, it's up 6%. Fine, we're getting a bounce in some of these, I guess, fintech names. It does a nice curl, have a wick top. We like the wick top. First consolidation about 75s. I got short at 67, so right in front of 75. I just bid 20s and then it bounced off that level, but you can probably see here, some out in front of that 69, some out probably in the 3/4 range, and then you have VWAP down here at 68.5. Those would be the subsequent targets. Facebook just took the low. Maybe it's a coincidence, I don't know, but XPEV finally broke the bottom. Like, how long was XPeng going to sit here just right off these pre-market lows? Like, it tried to break out and then holds these pre-market lows. It finally broke that 39.40. I shorted it, 39.50, sorry, shorted it, got 41s. Now I'm just looking to see if it can fall into some of the targets we had. I was trying to go long in front of 37 and then again trying it in front of 35. So halfway to that target, I'll try to get out some shares, and then I want to be all out if it got to 37. If that was going to be a long, you obviously can't be short and long at the same time, unless you have some kind of a glitch in your system. Affirm just got that first target. So once again, I've missed several times in the last few weeks. I've seen Affirm go to a key price area and not been quick enough to get over to it. This time, I happen to catch it at 70 even here. If it gets to VWAP, that's fantastic. The market not really doing a heck of a lot. We're up 1%. overall. I don't know why that chart didn't flip. Up 1% overall, but we're just holding this little cluster here. You'd hate to see it break down below 148, about 65 or so, and then give something up. The shorts might start to work there. But at that point, you might start seeing acceleration in the futures. Tesla broke its support. It's now taken the pre-market lows. That could help the XPeng trade, although it hasn't really moved yet.
Dap it up for Peloton right now. Good trade there. Firm taking that 40, 50 cents. Let's see if the market tanks, man. I like those calls. I'm trying to get out of PayPal, but we've already crushed this, so I'm kind of just seeing if we test it up here. I don't want PayPal to fall back down, but we only have 25% of this trade, 20% of this trade left on. If it comes back down, then we want to reload that trade. So we'll see if that comes back in there. Facebook is falling back down to 125 now. Peloton at that 37. We don't want to be too greedy here. If it takes back out like 37.40, we can get out of Peloton as it's bouncing off that. So let's put an order out right now to deal with that one. And by the way, look what your boy's doing right now too. CFVI to the upside right here. So as we were saying, let's see where the run comes. Unfortunately, we did get out of a little bit. We talked about that for that 14-cent hit. We're now long at 14, so it actually just printed 30. So if we were sitting there, it would have been a flat trade, but we're not trying to go flat on anything. We're trying to make that cash. So let's see if we go back up to the upside here on CFVI. For now, that's a look that I'm trying to have. But see, it's just going back and forth there, so you're going to have to wait on it. Other than that, I don't really have too many new positions. Obviously, listening to Neil talking about Tesla there, we've gotten out of NEO. NEO, one of my top stocks today as well. Actually, I made more on NEO than I did on Peloton, believe it or not. So right there, and Peloton's almost coming out at 37.50. So XPEV actually negative on it's up today, but yeah, negative, taking out lows.
Turning. I mean, that's the thing. These EVs are kind of trying to turn here. Enphase is trying to turn. I could have taken $2, but that stock's moving like 20, 30, so you can't. You got to give it some room. Bradley, I saw you in the chat. You asked about Day Trade the World. He's one of our Day Trade the World family, but you need to be on the new version as of this week. So make sure you're logged into the Kappa. That's why you can't get in to the platform. There was a version update, so you got to make sure you're in that new version. If a firm comes right back to that 70 area, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I am looking to reload. 70 is a pretty decent level. You can also kind of see here on a firm, this is what it's trying to break out of. This is the previous 70 top, so there's enough significance here to that 70 level that I would try to get a reload here in a firm. Brendan?
Halt on this DCFC to the upside here. Just went 13 up to 14.20. So volatility halt here for DCFC, guys.
That's the Biden one again.
Yeah, it's going nuts. And there it is, man. We will throw the money around and get out of Peloton. There it is. So that's a good one. We won't talk about Bruno, but we'll talk about some bangs right there. Peloton, one of my top stocks there today. Peloton and NEO pretty much 1-to-1 there. PayPal, I guess I did a good job sizing here today. They're all about the same, man. Ford, PayPal, they're all the same, making that cash. The only thing that we haven't made the same amount on was AMD. That name we didn't. We made money, but not as much as we should have because we emptied the clip out a little bit too much. And then CFVI, we wait for that name. But no, there was a name that someone talked about in the chat that I really did like there, and I can't remember what it was. But let's go over to CGC quickly, as I just saw someone talk about SNDL. We haven't done anything on CGC, but look at this high, 1860. This is probably a good short now on CGC. Just trying to take this level out, up 11%. The problem is today, obviously, they had the earnings, and the earnings weren't bad. We talked about that, and I said I wasn't going to short the high there, but it doesn't look like it wants to do anything to that high. So, this is a good base out right now on CGC, looking to take this down through 1854. So I think we could probably take a risk there of only about 10 cents to that high right there. But right now, CGC looking like a decent short. Let's take a short on this one right here and then just see if it wants to go higher. We've seen this happen too much where it just doesn't move. So CGC, not a great name here, but let's short it and give it up to a break of 65.
Yeah, market trying to get back towards those highs, so I got the reload in a firm. It might take out the top here, so I'm going to play it twice. We did take some profit. I am now going to be looking at DCFC. It's halted once. I kind of thought it would halt off the open potentially. That didn't happen. There's no real levels to look at, right? So now that you're in uncharted territory, it's indicating opening down, oddly enough, on an up halt. So it's indicating 1378, but 15 would stick out as an obvious round number. Otherwise, you're playing off the halt level itself. Weird that it's indicating to the downside, but just keep in mind how far this is already run. So there might be a lot of people looking to take profit that had this breakout, and they just want to get out on that open. So it might open flat and maybe sell off there. So just alert to DCFC. You never go broke taking profit on these names. You can't really say that enough. XPeng continues to try to roll over, but Tesla, of course. Tesla just bounced off 925. And XPeng is bouncing off 39 even. So I needed to break 39 to get down into this range in front of 38 to take some profit. And end phase, we tried to catch the falling sword on it. It might take out 157. I feel like you had to risk I feel like you had to risk that because that's where support was on the daily chart. So if we break 157, I'm out of end phase. We'll have swung and missed on that. Although it's entirely possible, it could take that low, reestablish that range, and then it's worth a re-entry point. So just like a failed breakup, you could have a failed breakdown and want to get back into it. I believe that call might have been that we're ready for Brendan for small cap recap.
Yeah, pretty choppy morning once again for some of these small cap names. We'll talk about a few of them that we were looking at in the pre-market here. CFVI, I mean, just like Sean was saying, I mean, chopping around back and forth, 15.5 up to about 1680, which was these highs from yesterday. If you caught that right off the open, I was looking at other things, but gave you a nice move to the downside, trying to hold 16. CGC, same story. This high, 870, 875. Going to give it to that. We'll see what happens. There's so much liquidity. It's tough to move this thing either direction. Just kind of grinding back to the upside right now. MITQ, I was talking about at the open, had to try this thing twice. It does fail at 170, 165, 170 after it stopped me out, of course. So we'll see now. Volume running dry though. MITQ, guys, back over to you.
I mean, we'll come back with some bangs again because, I mean, Ford just keeps on, that didn't work, there it is, bang. Ford just keeps on printing that cash, man. I mean, the cash register goes brr on Ford because, I mean, it just comes down, we get out, like empty the clip out again at 1810. We are holding for more of a move, but there it is again, like just reload, reload, reload. We talked about this today on Ford. I am surprised that we are not like off to the races. I thought this was going to be a big day for Ford, and I'm quite frankly disappointed. I'm not disappointed in the cash, but look what else we're doing, guys. Chicken dinner winners on CGC, like there it is one more time. We talked about that short right there at 857, a little bit of a cash at 51, and now we're going back to the downside. So there it is again, man. The marijuana stocks continue to dance around, and that's another win for us there on CGC. So far so good over here, guys. We just need CFVI to start to do something. There's another out right there at 48, or sorry, 47 we just got for some reason there on CGC. So, yep, this thing's flushing. Let's see if we can take advantage.
And instantly, so DCFC opens back up. It tries to take 15. It goes up, fakes a halt, and then tries to come back down. When it did, I just took the short at 15 and then had the high of the day as my out. So I stop at 15.40, risk about 40 cents to try and take that dollar in here. And now we just almost have to reevaluate. Like at this point, there's no obvious levels. I'd love for it to halt the second time because usually that third time is a bit of a charm. But DCFC continues to be off to the races. Just trade it very carefully. This is a very low float name. Clearly, it's prone to halt multiple times. I just think you're going to get a dollar at some point on that turn. So we want to be careful about risk to reward every single time we take it. But I like that reopen place. You're pretty much always going to see me, if it sets up, try to get into it. Affirm took out the 70 level. So 170 was gone. I'm out. No reversal long for me. I wasn't looking for that. Not with the futures failing to break out here. If the market was going, I'd like the reversal much better on Affirm, but that's not the conditions that we're in. So I'm just going to be out of Affirm at 70 even and looking for the turn on DCFC.
I know Bradley Taylor, Neil addressed your concern, but you have a trading floor development team. So don't, we'll take your questions, but don't ask us them because honestly, you should just be asking whoever your trading floor development person is because there could be multiple reasons. So I just don't want you to get too carried away with that one there. And sometimes you roll the dice And as long as you're playing the kind of dice game that I'm playing here today, at least, it's been a good one. There goes CFVI, man. We took a shot there. And believe it or not, I mean, you guys will believe it, but I'm waiting at 80. It just touched 60 there. So we were waiting above the day's high. Maybe a mistake there, but let's wait to see. I mean, why am I even doing that? Let's just wait at 68. Let's cancel this. No, sorry, I'm at 16. No, that's a mistake. I'm at 1677. So I was at the high of the day, but let's not do that. Let's just go here, put an order in midway. Let's go 60, 64. Bradley Pitt is in the building. So in about 40 minutes, you'll see Trader Prad. He took 2 days of vacation there. So he's back in the building. You'll see Trader Prad coming through in about 40 minutes with Trader Arun. Now. So there we go. Nicely done to the downside there on CGC. We got some out, but not everything. I still think it falls even lower. Facebook got me nervous there as it did take that out. So we got out of what we had a little bit left. We still have it, but it takes out that 50 period and we get out of that, which is an awful mistake because now we're in the money, another $1.15. So another great trade there, hopefully for Facebook, as I don't have any offers now. We'll see if it goes higher and higher and higher, but we are at the highest spot we've been at all day. So so far so good here. Let's just keep the thing going here. Hey Prad, a lot of people loving you, so we're getting very, very excited to get back to at Trader TV Prad very, very soon. There goes Facebook, $1.50, Neil. This stock is mooning.
And Miss V, anyone asking, Rainmaker, Miss V is back on Monday, so the entire team will be back full in force in just a couple of days here. You'll see DCFC, which of course I'm going to be glued to when it has that reopen trade. It popped through 16. You get another failure. It got to 1650, tried to break, and then another slam down. So first consolidation was just above 16. I've gotten some out in front of 1550. I'll bid some out in front of 15. And then it's the halt price at 1420 or so. 1419 was the halt price. That'd be the last level of defense. It's just a systematic trade that I like to put on. And then end phase. So I said I'd be willing to get back into this trade, but not, look, it broke 157. I'm only willing to get back into it if it can reclaim this 160 level. Put in a higher low, show me that you're actually making a bit of a curl. We like the 160 because we had 57 support potentially on the daily chart. Otherwise, we're just going to move away from it. XPeng, which went all the way down to that, but Tesla bounced, and then XPeng, which went all the way down to 39 even. Could have scalped out 50 cents, but that's not the trade I'm looking for, down at 39. I'm looking to extend it a little bit further here. This is a trend reversal on a failed break on good news. And as long as it wants to hold 40 even, then I'm staying in the short trade, right? So it's going down to 38, I think. If it can hold 40, I think we should get 38. I'm not thinking long till we get to 37. So not much has changed with the trade over in XPeng. And then just checking back in on, well, we were talking about GameStop a little bit earlier. Checking back in on GameStop, there's another failure at 120. So it looks like the short would have worked at that 120 level. I only liked it if it didn't break. It did break the 120, so that violated my rules for entry. So no entry for me there. DCFC, at any given moment, I always have a stop on it. Even if it starts to work, you're always concerned it could break the high and then stop you out, go into another halt condition. So even when you're in the money, always have that caution. I want to adjust my stop order because I don't want to reverse into a long, so I'm constantly adjusting that stop, but 14 is the ultimate target.
All right, we're honestly, we're just like stone cold chilling right now. The hard work is paying off once again as we're going to go. Oh, I need that Street Fighter thing back on here because today we're going to go perfect and we're not going to try to let the money come out here. So let's just, be conservative here a little bit. Look at Ford. Like we just went long there. Look at our last out, 1820. Like, come on. Things just working out for us, man. PayPal, $1.20 in the money right now. Facebook, $1.50 in the money right now. CFVI, we will. People, we will get $17 on CFVI today, so let's hold out for that one. There goes that DCFC. I don't know if you were long or short on that one, but that's starting to blow upside a little bit now as I see it on my E signal. I don't know if it is or not. It looked like it was there. Taking out 16, now 1660, the new high there. So, yay. Let's build community. Why not? I mean, that's what I'm here for. That's what Twitter's here for. So I'm going to put this in the chat right here. And if you guys can go over, if you're on Twitter, go over, Let me know what you're trading today. What a morning it's been. Ford, PayPal, Facebook, AMD, NEO, Peloton. We could add more. Actually, I forgot, no, PayPal's on there. We can now add CGC to that list, as that's now 5 pennies in the money. And I should have put CFVI on here as well. But what are you guys trading so far? We have Glenn, CLF, Cliffs, CFVI I was thinking about there. And then we have Roshan here on Facebook. So let me know what you guys are trading. But so far, man, we on one. I just wish I was on this DCF, guys. That halt, kaboom, right up to the upside. $17 now. Oh, there goes Canopy as well, Brendan. Down to $8.44, $8.45 for Canopy. Yeah, buddy. Another one, DJ Collins says. What's up, Brendo?
Joby Aviation, which is JOBY in New York, up 7.5% here, guys. There was a Morgan Stanley positive note on this thing yesterday after the close. Basically said this stock can triple. So yeah, nice day for them, up to $5.
So when you get DCFC, we're in at 16 and then we're out 16.50. It then reloads in front of that high of the day, it breaks the high, so I'm going to get out. Then it puts another wick top in. So if I see a wick top setup on this, I'm going to get back into it, basically off the same levels. Brendan pointing out, and I think he's already said this, but just to reiterate, this actually has over 100 million of a float. So I might have said it's a low floater. That's still, 100 million isn't a gigantic float. It's going to do maybe even 100 million today at 30 million. But we've seen ones with like 1 or 2. So in this environment, that is not as tiny as some of the ones that we've seen before, but it's still relatively low. Of course, this is just that stock that Biden was talking about inviting to the White House. XPeng continues to churn back and forth, and you got to watch Tesla. It's right back, at least retesting those lows. I think if Tesla takes the bottom, that'll turn some of the EV stocks, but the overall market, that's a different story. Like, it's actually holding up pretty well here. So it's just a few names that look like they're rolling back over. Tesla, potentially one of them. That's the confidence I have in XPeng because we're showing weakness. If Tesla were to take the high, I'm probably out of XPeng.
Oh, man. It seems like we could trade tech, we could trade small caps, we could trade the CFVIs of the world, we could trade the Fords, we could trade the Facebooks, we could trade the Pelotons. And there it is, right back into marijuana stocks right now as, we talked about this. Taking CGC, short off that play. It was all the short, all the days, and that's what we're talking about right there on that name. I want to say, Dennis, you don't want to share, that's fine, we like it anyways. Shout out to you, David Jones. Matic, what a great crypto. We love Matic, man. Polygon, that's one of my big ones. And a shout out to you as well, Brian James. Microsoft and AMC, let's go crypto right now. Cardano back to 120. We're buying that $1. We're buying Solana, and we're buying everything that Brendan says. What's up?
All right, an hour to go over in the European session. Guys, let's take a break here and get a quick update on how things over in Europe are shaping up. Etienne Marceau is a senior analyst over at marketscreener.com, joins us again. Good to see you, as always, Etienne. Bit of a mixed day after a couple of positive sessions here. What are you looking at today?
Yeah, true. Nice positive sessions. Actually, we may be building a stronger foundation for another week of gains. There is some really good opportunities on the market at the moment. Volatility has been falling a bit. Results are okay, and investors are taking advantage of this situation to strengthen positions that they wouldn't touch last week. As usual, the fall has been way quicker than the rise, so we will have to wait and be patient before witnessing the Euro Stoxx 600 back at 477 points. But it is really this level that I'm looking for, as it is the path that the index is taking. Not much to say on the macroeconomic front, except that Christine Lagarde reassured investors in front of the European Parliament on Monday, saying that it wasn't necessary to proceed with a significant monetary tightening because inflation is slowing by itself, even if everyone is not at the same page at the European Central Bank. However, government bonds, both in the US and Europe, continue to rise on a long-term basis. While the 10-year T-bond is approaching 2%, French 10 years government bonds are getting closer to 0.7%. This market seems to be very easy to trend, as it is fully bullish on the long term, but it is still the preserve of institutional investors. On Monday, the Euro Stoxx earned 0.68%. The session was neutral then on Tuesday, and today we are witnessing an acceleration with a rise of 1.5%. The top climbers are the stocks that have had a tough time since the beginning of the year, but there is no sector really standing out. So no news is the good news. So let's use a bit of our cash reserves to take advantage of this short-term trend.
Etienne Monco, Senior Analyst over at MarketScreener.com. Appreciate your time as always. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, guys.
Great stuff. Yeah, choppy session, but holding some key levels, guys, over in Europe. While I have you, coming up in about 15 minutes, GraphX coming through, going to tell us a little bit about some battery-related news when it comes to EV battery-related news when it comes to GraphX. So stick around for that in about 15 minutes, guys.
So just thank you very much there to Etienne. It's been crazy. Like, we're actually pretty choppy here too, but we have like a triple top forming in the ES. There was an iceberg at 1625 on DCF that I've been in front of. I was able to get some out at 1550 and then broke that level, then reestablished. I jumped in front of them again, and then tight stop out. So as long as it tries to hold this range, I'm kind of just going back into the trade, not letting it get back into the high, looking to still capture that move down to 15 potentially. That triple top mentioned in the futures, that just broke. The ES just broke to the high side there, which does mean Tesla, which was going lower, is breaking to the upside. I'm not going to move anything over on XPeng, but it does change the conditions under which I would take more shares. It's still on the NASDAQ, Neil. Sorry, in the New York, I mean. It still does change the conditions under which I take more shares. 40 is the level, 40 is the stop. But I would have added to this if we still look weak. If we weren't breaking out and we got to 40, I'd probably average into it and take more shares. I don't think that makes sense. If the market's on the verge of a break, I think we're then testing higher. So stop is at 40 on XPEV. To me, that's just a simple reversal play. They're selling the news. It's still up 6%. But once you see that failed breakout and then take out the bottom, as long as we hold that consolidation here, it does feel like it should still be a bit of a short. And then going to go back to Sundial. The risk was 1 cent to try and make 4 or 5. And then I said I didn't like the breakout on Sundial because of the 58 level on the 15-minute chart. And of course, Sundial goes right up to 58. If you go to the 15-minute chart, this is Sundial up here. It goes right to that 58 level and puts a bit of a reversal. That's why I didn't like the long off the same 56. If it goes back up to 58, has a chance to break, I think it can still be faded off of that. I'm always shorting the pops in these names until it really doesn't work. And that's usually been breaking $1.
Oh, wow. AMC going today's high right now. We're just we're hitting the waters up right now. Like I said, I'm just going to let these positions cruise, man. We're in this, and we've just been, really, really enjoying trading today, obviously. Ford to the upside again, another move. We'll see if we can get out at 21 and print that out right there as well. That's a good trade. Looking to maybe reload back into NEO, but we've already missed that opportunity down there at 25. That was pretty clean. And it's not, I'm not just relaxing here because we're trying to hold the day. It's just, I don't really see too much. I mean, Facebook's bouncing around. I don't mind averaging into this one, but this is a pretty flat day here for Facebook so far. Hey, what's up, Maggie? Hey, what's up? Hopefully that's doing good, and then we'll go there. Marijuana stocks, we've already hit that. I mean, I don't know what happened there when we crushed down through, but we're not worried about it. We're out now of 70% of this trade as well as we go, and we're just waiting. We can review CFVI. We went long there. It didn't work. We took a 14-cent hit. We talked about that, and now we wait. I mean, we're already in the money, 14 cents, but we'll have to wait to see what happens to the high side. 1670, 1675 or so is the target for that trade. Other than that, man, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome for the Peloton trades too. A lot of people talking on the chat about that one. We just wanted to build out this 35, and we were able to get long 36. We were bidding down here lower. I still am 35.25. We didn't get filled, and then that was our last out. But we probably should have waited for 38 a little bit there. So, hey, man, only 10 minutes until our next interview. Oh, and also Nucor, by the way, we bought that at 25 bucks. Sorry, 25.90. I wish 25.95. The last couple time it's there. And I don't know if you're on the chat right now, Austin, but I know that you are in this with me, and you keep messaging and saying, about those calls down here at 95. But we're right back up here again for Nucor. So I am actually debating taking some off because we've bought some here. Actually, the first buy was down here, I think, 95. We didn't get any out. Then we bought more. We didn't get any out. Then we bought more. We should get some out. So right now, Nucor will wait to get out on that one. But look at PayPal. I know you're out of a firm, Neil, but wow, PayPal, let's go, man. Hit the sirens on PayPal as that name going, man. $2 now. Look where we're long down here on PayPal. 120, right? We were giving that one all the way down here. We've done the research where, we got smoked holding some shares. We are willing to do that again on PayPal, but today pays off to the upside. And we talked about it going to 122, and it's here, so maybe we should be getting some out. But that's enough for me. We're done with our casual talk. Let's just go continue to make some money.
Yeah, and speaking of which, DCFC, another wick top. So every time it tries to set up, I think it's going to have a shot at that dollar move. And if I can get a trade that risks 25 to 40 points and gives me the shot to take first target out for that amount and then double it up at 15.50 and then some more out at 15, holding down to that 14, that's the well I want to go back to over and over again. I do still want to look at end phase. Like the market's, here's the thing, the market's actually starting to break out here. In end phase, we took one shot at this one first, off that 157 on the daily, and I've typed NZ, so now it's not going to work for me. On the daily chart, that 157 level, it still has not reclaimed 160. Until that happens, or at least makes a stronger base, I don't think you want to just jump in front of it. It's a very volatile name. You really want this to settle down a bit. Yeah, it's not going to load here, so we can get off that chart, unfortunately. But it needs to settle down. It needs to get back above 160. Crazy action on end phase here today, and I don't think by any stretch of the imagination it's done. If I flip back to DCFC, it's probably, yeah, I flipped to DCFC and now end phase is going to show you. This is that 157 previous top. I think it can still settle down in this range, but there's no reason to just jump back into it and throw money at the trade again until it settles down. You can calm down. You can be a little bit more patient with it. If this is going to be a nice little bottom, then I want to see it consolidate, go sideways a bit here, and then try to retake that 160 level. That's what I'm looking for to happen. Doesn't mean it has to, but those are the conditions under which I'll make the next trade. And like I said, I'll be in that XPEV until we break that 40 level. And just going back into Sundial, if we retake the bottom, it hasn't happened yet, but if we retake that 56 area, I just jump back into the short trade as we'd be looking at a failed breakout, got to the 58 and couldn't get through.
All right, maybe we're just being silly not taking 122 here on PayPal. We talked about that, that we liked that name up here at that 122 level. So let's just, I don't know, I'm a little nervous getting out here, but I'm not really giving up that much on the upside. So there it is. Let's get out. PayPal right there. Hits through 78. And there it is. One more time, guys. We'll go timber, as we'll hope PayPal will fall back down now, but so we can reload. But there it is. A nice little out. That's 120.25. And again, all over the talk in the pre-market. We wanted that trade. And even when it was coming down and it broke through 120, like I wouldn't take a 120.25. Just so you guys know, like I wouldn't take a 120.25 and get out at 120. Like 25 cents worth of risk on PayPal, it can just be like a quick move. I've learned my lesson doing that. Although, sometimes like you don't get out there and then it tanks to like 118 and you're like, why did I get out? But we had the plan of averaging in back down here on PayPal. We had the feeling that the market was an up market today. Obviously, we came in with it being an up market. We're bouncing off that 15,000. So sometimes you make calls and you're right, and sometimes you make calls and you're wrong. What's been a wrong call here was not getting out of all of the Facebook every time it went to 226. So now you pay the piper again as Facebook now coming back down. I have a stop for this trade. We're very, very light on it. We only have 20% left and it's still in the money, but still Facebook coming back down here. Possibly a reload. We'll look to reload this, but we didn't. We just got out of some more there. Forward at 16. Things starting to fall back down. Wish we would have got the reload, Brendan, there on CGC, but it didn't go quite high enough to get me into the 60s one more time. But wow, that's an impressive board. I want to know what that red name is there in the middle, but right now let's go over to the big board with Brendan.
CVS down today. Pretty much everything else, guys. That's CVS. 4.5% to the downside off earnings, obviously, in the pre-market here, but otherwise very positive. 1.23% right across the entire board here. There's INCY. You can't see it, but that's actually, that's not Amgen. I did see Amgen was down today as well after a huge move yesterday. If you remember, AMGN off of earnings coming back to the downside. But otherwise, as we said, pretty positive here right across the board. This is the consumer discretionary group. This is the industrial group, both kind of leading the way as far as positivity is concerned. Travel names individually, very, very strong right across the board as well. All the hotels, all the cruise lines to the upside again today. Penn National, that's Chipotle off earnings as well, 7.4%. 7.4% for Chipotle today. Industrial stocks, here's the airlines over here, all 3+% in positive territory again. Banks, communication stocks, and real estate stocks also very strong. We mentioned Fox and Fox A up on earnings as well. So this group getting a boost off of that. We'll get Disney tonight after the close. It's up 2.25% today. Disney earnings to come, and oil, as we mentioned, was down, but energy stocks still pretty solidly higher here right across the board. So a nice day, yeah, 1.2 off of a nice day yesterday. Guys, back over to you.
I saw something in the chat that was a little bit like someone said the market's up today because the CPI was leaked. And I just want to caution, like there was, I feel it was a couple, the last report, there was some talk of somebody saying how that, I'm not going to say who it was online, Zero Hedge, saying what the numbers would be, and they were dead wrong. So be very cautious when you see things like, oh yeah, this economic indicator is leaked. Like I'm not saying it can never happen. I think that'd be hubris to say that it couldn't. But now you do want to be cautious, thinking that for sure that's going to be correct. I was asked about Backed. It's at $7. Last time it got back here, last time it was here, 670 was resistance. That's blown through. And then you're looking up at $8. Look at that price acceptance and then rejection back through at $8. So I think that's probably where it's headed if it can take out 7. You're seeing it go parabolic. Unless I see gigantic size, I look at that and say there's nothing significant until it gets to at least 760 and $8. If you got the break, those are reasonable profit targets. 7 had nothing on it. It just chewed right through it. DCFC just had a bit of a plunge. Went all the way back down to, if it'll load up for me here, went all the way back down to about 1565, 70. Yeah, it's like, okay, so it's not going to load once again. So if I go to another stock, let's go to TD randomly here, and then try to come back to it. Nope, my chart's going to freeze. It bounced at 1560, went back up to 1590. I just got some out in the middle at 1580 to take some profit on it. And again, it's just keeping tight stops on the stock and then trying to jump back into it when it made sense. That's how you can go counter trend and still be able to make money. Yeah, this isn't going to load up.
All right, so we did a reload, so that might not load, but we reloaded down there on Facebook and then just took back all profit on that name and made everything back there. Well, we didn't lose anything. We've been perfect today on Facebook, not perfect, but pretty close to it here on Facebook today. And there's another reload right down there at 224. Best out 224.70 there on the rip up. Now we only have 20% left of this reload. So if it breaks back down through 224 right now, then we down on this one. So good on that. So and I think that, you know, what Neil was doing there on DCF, I think is very important. Like that's why you got to share size properly, right? Because you take your swings, and if you miss the first couple times, just like I did on CFVI there, like if you take a shot, I mean CFVI is, this may be a bad example because we're in the money on this one, but like, you know, if you swing at that and you miss, and it's like your full default or something, and it does come all the way back down, then you're not going to have an opportunity to make the money back, right? And so I think that's, we talked a little bit about risk earlier, and I think that's one of the most important things is, you know, you got to take your cuts when they're there, but then be able to have shares on board when it works, like that DCFC or whatever it is called, and like CFVI here. So, I mean, talking the same thing here right now. Did you want to go before Brendan?
No, I was going to say, like, if the chart finally loaded up for me, so I can't show. This is what I was trying to get at. Like, every single time I put a wick high in, I would just jump back in because that's the setup, but I'm taking profit because 1550 as a buyer, and it did bounce. I did get that second fill in front of 50s there, and then I'm going to try to get some out of 15 and then 14. So the same plan hasn't really changed. And before, I know we're about to go to the interview, Tesla just broke 925 once again. So it might turn negative any second now.
Oh, yeah,
we teed it up. Now we are ready to go to the desk with Brendan and our guest of the day.
All right, thanks so much, guys. Yeah, we're talking graphite manufacturing today for lithium-ion batteries with GraphX Group. This was the headline at the beginning of the week. The company announced plans to establish a Michigan-based EV battery-focused material production facility. We're very happy to speak with GraphX today, and John DeMaio, who is president of the graphene division of GraphX Group and CEO of GraphX Technologies, joining us to discuss this news. It's great to have you, John. Welcome. John's on the West Coast, so it's early, but we appreciate you getting up to tell us about this. So congratulations, first of all, on this this production facility. Why don't you start off with maybe a little bit on what exactly the company does, and we'll get into the manufacturing process here as well.
You bet, and it's great to be with you. So GraphX is a midstream producer of graphite for use primarily in electric vehicle batteries, but for applications that call for any graphite in the lithium-ion space. We provide the anode material for electric vehicle batteries is primarily what we're focused on.
This manufacturing facility, let's get into a little bit on how this process works. And typically this is a market and a manufacturing process that in the past has been dominated by the Chinese market, but this is going to be the first facility in the U.S. of its kind from the company. So tell us what exactly is going to be happening in Michigan.
Right, so definitely one of the first, if not the first. But the graphite is processed, from out of the ground, and it needs to be processed into a form that is usable for the anode material of the batteries. The Michigan facility will do the final processing of that graphite to coat it with the proper at the proper size, with the proper coating, so that it performs electrically the way the battery manufacturers need it to.
And we're showing the graph here on unprecedented demand and an unprecedented increase in demand when it comes to EV batteries and lithium-ion batteries, as you mentioned there. Why don't we get into a little bit on how exactly this product is used within these batteries?
So batteries are composed of an anode, a cathode, and electrolyte. The majority of anode material is graphite, natural graphite, and synthetic graphite. We produce ourselves the natural form of graphite. We also have access to supply the synthetics variety. So what you're seeing here is that battery technologies are evolving and the chemistries are changing, but regardless of what type of chemistry is being used, the graphite anode continues to grow as demand grows.
So 10,000 metric tons currently being produced by the company coming out of China. What, if any, are there benefits of having this facility within the U.S. instead of trying to bring it in from the Chinese market?
Right, so there are multiple. So the graphite will still be primarily processed in China, mined in China, but there are multiple benefits to having a U.S. Supply chain. One is the localized supply chain, right? Car manufacturers, battery manufacturers that are installing gigafactories here in the U.S. are going to be looking for supply. We all know that the electric vehicles are increasing in number. That requires more batteries. Batteries require more graphite. So localized supply chain, almost to the point of just-in-time processing. Having U.S. local supply chain will eliminate some of the geopolitical concerns that you hear about almost daily about, political kind of forces at play. Eliminating some of the supply chain interruption that we've seen over the last couple of years, right? We're also going to be importing technology into the U.S., right? Sharing what we've learned over the years with the rest of the industry, with the rest of the world. So importing tech into the U.S. versus the other way. Importing U.S. jobs or bringing jobs to the U.S. and U.S. manufacturing. So we think there's multiple benefits to bringing a plant online. Hopefully in Michigan, we're definitely working through, some logistics there, but definitely in the U.S. This will be the first of perhaps multiple plants in the U.S. And of course, we're looking at supporting the EV proliferation in Europe and beyond.
We talk on this show almost daily about, these companies coming out saying they can't find, materials for batteries. There's supply chain issues, as you mentioned, decreasing the production of these vehicles, even as demand is at basically all-time high. So love the angle of not only localizing and, increasing the access to these, but increasing jobs as well, as you mentioned, which is a huge positive for the local market. The company's still working on increasing production as well. What else can investors look forward to from Graphex in the future?
Well, we have a three-pronged approach to expansion and diversification. First, on the production side, I think you alluded to it. We have plans in place to increase our production from 10,000 metric tons to 40,000 metric tons over the next 3 years. So we're moving ahead with that process. So that's on the production side. On the supply side, we're looking at diversification of those raw materials. You mentioned, and it's published, that 100% of our raw materials currently come from northeastern province of China. We are looking at other sources of supply for that raw material in different countries around the world. So we have diversification on the supply side. And then, of course, on the distribution side, we're looking at, obviously, a U.S. Manufacturing facility. We're also partnered with Desitec, a company that's got strong connections throughout Europe for supporting gigafactories in other countries as well. So production, supply, and distribution, we're looking to expand on all fronts.
John DeMiles, president of the Graphene division of Graphex Group and the CEO of Graphex Technology. We appreciate you doing this morning. Best of luck. Thanks for coming on.
It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much.
Graphex, guys, we saw the OTCQX listing there, bottom of the screen.
Shout out to the friends at OTC Markets and Jeff, our good friend Jeff Mendel. AMD just made a bit of a break at that 130 level. Just keep in mind, pre-market highs are a little bit higher than that. Ooh, ugly wick there down to 114. So 131 and 132 in play on a higher time frame, as one of my charts must have frozen or must have completely tanked. So 131 and 132 is potential resistance. I've lost my 15-minute. And the other move, DCFC, we got out of 2/3 of that position, and then it tries to reclaim the high here. So you're seeing a bit of a curl. If it cannot take out about 16.5, then I consider getting back into it. Otherwise, we're just going to stop out. And again, try to take those pot shots at it, but make sure you have a stop every single time. If this takes out the high, it is a decent probability that it can always halt. One more time, two more times. It's only halted once today. I think that's a bit of a fluke. It certainly has moved enough that it could have halted more times than that. There's a stop out there. If it fails to get to the top, I would just jump right back into the trade. If it fails, if it goes to halt one more time, the reopen play is definitely going to be there, so long as you can play it off the key level. $20 is the only obvious key level there that you'd go in a vacuum.
Oh, man. Yeah, great interview. I was listening to that. We're just sitting here going, Ape Nation here. We'll talk about AMC in a minute. As there goes Facebook, guys. Look at this. 224 in, out, 225. That's another $1.10 right there. Sorry, $1 flat on Facebook right there. We made sure we got exactly $1 on that trade as it ripped all the way to the upside there. It took it out above that 225 as that's rocking and rolling. Look at Ford, guys, just still back to the highs. We're waiting at 20. If we get that print, we get that print. That's great. We did take another bid out there on CGC off this short. So we're just loving life right now. As today we're going to go perfect despite CFVI. Right now we're holding this. This is the only red mark on the account today, and it's right there. But I still think we take out 17, so we cheer on CFVI today. I'm holding that. Not only am I holding it, I'm averaging in if we get back down here. Let's just check out before I go to Brendan here for earnings, as we still have lots of time left. Let's go over to AMC quickly. You guys want to have a look at this. Wow, shout out to Niagara Charlie. If you're not joining us early on, guys, he brought up a point, and it was a super chat about the short interest and the on loan, the capitalization, all that kind of stuff for AMC. And today it is paying dividends because AMC is straight fire. I should be long this name. It's crazy. I was down here at 1602. So stupid. I should have just been at yesterday's close, man, 1630, and then we'd be really laughing with this on AMC. But just as an idea, this 18.5 area, that's a spot where I probably will look to short it. and I can't go long right here. It's not doing anything. On a pullback into 1710, 1715, maybe we go long there. Where's PayPal right now? We got out of PayPal. That's $1.50 or whatever it was for a win, and more than that for the win. But now PayPal's still cruising to the upside. I know a firm took out, Square was another name, and then we'll go back to Brendan. I think Square was still hovering around 110. Yeah, 110 on Square. Yesterday had that 100 print. Like, unbelievable, some of these moves you can get in just one day. Brendan, I believe it's earnings time.
Yeah, a few notable names on this board once again for this evening, guys. Join us tomorrow. Going to be an exciting one. Here we go. Tonight and tomorrow morning, these are reporting.
Uber is going to sit there and maybe Twitter a little bit here. I'm going to be watching Pepsi. I don't think it's going to matter too much. It's been pulling back. Like, there's been that rotation that I think you had to take some of the top off of some of your consumer names. Was you got double tops on Pepsi that already happened, and Procter did the same thing. Disney is going to be a big one as well. Oh, Canada for Canada Goose. Although we kind of never really trade that one. And Duke Energy's been a beast before. I mean, the entire space has been, obviously.
Yeah. Pepsi will move plus or minus 2% probably.
It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're excited for it, but we all are excited for our holdings as well. Disney, I like Disney, but at the same time, we'll just wait to see what they say. I think that they have a great opportunity to come out and say some nice positive things, especially with the reopening happening. We'll look for the guide on Disney. That's all that's going to matter. I don't think anyone's expecting them to make a killing or anything during the last quarter, as they did have obviously issues, but they're starting to reopen worldwide now, so that's nice. Cruise lines, things like that. Uber, nah, I don't know. We'll be interested in that maybe. Twitter's a really hard stock to trade, I find. And on earnings, we'll find some key spots. But if you remember what Snapchat did on earnings, this is going to be a play here where if you like Twitter, this is I don't know what the implied move is. We have Daniel Shea on tomorrow, but you could check the options market. This is one that we've already seen it hit $32 on the shitty Facebook earnings, right? And then it ripped up the very next day to 38, or even higher than that, 39. So we went in one day, 32 to 39, right? So it can move like crazy. If it's a good report, we may get back into this 42, 44 area. So Twitter for me is a name to look at. And by the way, I know we're about to go out again, but wow, dropping grenades today on Facebook. Finally, man, seeking revenge on this stock the last couple of days. Now we have a bad wick. We'll clean that up. But you can see Twitter right here. What time is that? 10:54. Facebook starting to go crazy right now. 225.00. Let's put that in as the high. You can see nice move, taking that out. I'm going to be sitting up here 226. We have a great bottom here. The low of the day we have 224. So, so far so good. $1.20 in the money there. Oh, and we just got hit on Ford. So we're almost out of Ford. One small piece left. I said this would be my most active name and my most profitable name. Ding on both of those.
And Lyft, by the way, we showed you guys Uber. We talked about Uber reporting. Lyft, by the way, up pretty significantly, 2%. It did make a 39 bottom and then got back towards highs of the day here at 42. So it's come all the way down, sold off a bit on earnings. It was a mixed report, to say the least, on Lyft. I don't think it was all great, but there was enough there that it's bouncing upside. I think Uber is going to do a little bit better in terms of their report. XPeng did eventually break that level, that 40 level to the upside. It hasn't really gone yet. So that's going to be, still in New York. That's going to be the last one that we're in. We weren't taking, like I said, I wasn't looking to take 40 or 50 cents on the trade. I was looking for a more structured short that would hang on to the rest of the day. If it reclaims 40 to the downside, we're right at the high of the day. This could still be a trend reversal that could go. And it would be pretty much the exact same setup. It would be taking out these bottoms, giving it to that same 40 high, but the market would have to capitulate as well. If that doesn't happen, then there's no need to fight the trade on XPeng. Very, very strong, but I see a wick high like that in a trend reversal. Going to take it every single time. I told you guys next week that Miss V is back. It's actually on Tuesday that she'll be back. Just a bit of a correction, but you do get Trader Prad back. So both Trader Prad and Arun are there for Market Movers, which we're sending to you two right now.
All right, welcome back, guys. It is the Arun show. Well, it is not the Arun show. That show is done. But I'm going to start off because I think Prad's back. We're going to wait for a few more people before we reintroduce Platinum Prad. He's not Platinum just yet, but there's a whole story with that. So we're going to wait on that one. In the meantime, while we're waiting for more people to join, because I'm sure there's going to be questions, while we're doing that, I'm just going to quickly show you guys what my position board looks like. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So